Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. And this is now episode 314. In this episode, we're going to talk about Cronin telling Dame there is no coming back, the Bucks championship odds, did the Suns upgrade by trading Ayton, Jrue Holiday trades, and discussing where the Heat now rank in the East. A huge shout out to everybody that's been joining the Patreon. 100 new Patreon members this month and is growing. You join the Patreon, you get an exclusive episode each week. That's 4 episodes a month. $1 a month for Patreon. That's 25 cents an episode, and we're here giving you an hour plus of content.
One of the
how many are we up to?
There is
277. I told you.
Don't forget.
Once you get 300. Once you get 300.
Do-rag Dehls.
We're in the do-rag on the Patreon, man.
And we also got some special news. So we got to up the production on the Pick a Side podcast. Huge shout out to Drew. This was his idea. And now we got different angles. Alambe, he's producing. Show the angle, the close-up of me and Riv. You know we got it. Show the close-up of Drew and Dehls. Oh, they got it. Oh, they got it. You know, we up in the production on the Pick a Side podcast.
Which one's our camera?
that one,
This
bro.
one,
Very
bro.
obvious. The one that's pointing
Riv,
right at you.
Riv, it's that one, bro.
Yeah, I fucked up. I legit went that way, and I was looking. I was like, "We're here." All right.
So when you give a take now,
man.
you just, you look into the camera, you look here, you look there. You know, we can see on the TV right there where the camera's at. But
shout out to Alambe, man.
we gotta up the
Shout out to our
production.
guy.
We got to up the production. He's coming from New York. He got a full-time job helping us out doing this.
But he's
production
also a
stuff.
hack and sack legend. We don't bring the outside guys, not to our show. Hack and sack to the day we die, of course. We got to stay.
I thought you was from
stay
the
in
Bronx.
touch with the fan. Always. But of course, this is where I reside now. I reside in
You're a
Hackensack.
fraud.
What do you mean?
Okay.
Born and raised in the Bronx. Did 5 years there. Don't forget that, bro.
5 years there.
Don't
He
forget
said did
that.
5 years like he was in jail.
Yeah, bro, 0 to 5 years old.
He was in Rikers, man.
Shit wasn't fun, man. How to get out of there.
Get out the mud.
This is going to be a strictly basketball episode. We're going to be breaking down all the aspects of the Damian Lillard to the Bucks trade. We did an instant reaction when we were in the studio on Wednesday, but this show is going to be full, in-depth arguments, analysis. We'll just see how the show goes. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how you're feeling about it. But before we do that, Mojo Fantasy, our biggest sponsor on the show, we're going to run down some of the biggest games on Sunday and see what props we like from those games. So, Drew, I'll hand it off to you.
All right, first one we're going to go over, my Denver Broncos versus Chicago.
You're not going to say Rivs, Chicago, there?
Yes, Riv, this is your Chicago
Thank you.
Bears to the point where you kind of fought me on whether or not who would be doing this prop, but of course, got to give it to the guy who actually roots for one of these
I
teams
picked
legitimately.
the Bears every week. Who's
the
really
Chiefs.
the guy?
I respect you for that. I picked them, and I said put the house on the Broncos, and
Against the
I'm
Raiders.
currently homeless. But Denver versus Chicago. I'm just gonna read just a bunch of lines. Russell Wilson over under 243.5 passing yards versus Chicago. Me personally, I think that this is just another game where Russ dominates.
If we've seen the Bears defense the last couple of weeks, you got to go over on this line without a doubt.
Yeah, they've been horrendous. They've been like our defense has been bad. Bears have arguably been worse than us.
Yeah, it's pretty much easy to over. Take anything to over against the Bears. The defense stinks.
Now this is a real question. Justin Fields over under 192.5 passing yards.
109?
192.5.
This is the game, Dehls.
They're disrespecting us all.
Hey, we were showing Justin Fields love on the fantasy reaction.
Really?
He's our
Yeah,
start
we
of the
made him
week.
our start of the week.
I like that. You know what? That's why I fucking love you guys.
Is there a Justin Fields Russian prop?
As of right now, I'm not seeing any Justin Fields rushing props.
I'm staying away from everything Justin Fields passing.
Really?
Yes.
I'll tell you what, in terms of passing yards, he's hit this line twice. Buccaneers 211,
Really?
Packers 216.
Didn't notice.
He was
Just
absolutely
like yes and 100.
Yeah, like the same way you felt. Lazard felt the same way, man.
he was pretty horrendous versus the Chiefs. Only 99 passing yards, a touchdown and an interception, but that touchdown was way late, and that's when they sat the starters. So you're saying under, or you're just staying away
I'm
entirely?
staying away from this
Where's
one.
my camera? This one right here?
The one point is
This is the day. Smash the over on Justin Fields passing yards. It's the breakout, man. We waited. 3 weeks is in. This is the week 4 against Denver's defense. You guys is trash.
Joel,
We're here.
I can't wait till the day that you can talk about these with us,
one of these
man.
days.
One
man,
day.
one of these days.
Justin Fields over 1.5 passing touchdowns. He has not hit that this season.
I'm staying away from that too.
I'm also staying away from that.
Russ 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Ooh.
I actually love this.
I'm going over on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll take the over on that.
Javonte Williams, who's kind of been shaky,
Mid.
54.5 rushing yards. Honestly, this might be one of those lines where the Bears' rush defense is not great. On top of their pass defense not being great. We've been waiting for a Javonte Williams breakout game. The script hasn't been there for him. This is a prime Javonte Williams game, honestly, in my opinion.
Drew, I really want to. I'm curious to see what the Marvin Mims line is.
All right, let me see if they actually cooked up a Marvin Mims line.
I'm hoping they did.
They didn't.
No,
they didn't.
oh my
Mojo
God, they
Mojo really
folded.
slacks on the low key one. We'll talk to you guys. They know better. Jerry Jeudy, I know you love Jerry Jeudy. He's one of your favorite wide receivers in the National
top 10.
Football League.
He's one of the best route runners in the league.
He really is. You saw him fry up last week?
I didn't notice.
Nah, it was garbage time. Over under 56.5 receiving yards for Jerry. To be honest with you, they really got Jerry Jeudy going late in that game, really for probably the long term of this season. Russ and him had a great connection last season. They hit more often than not last year when Jerry Jeudy was on the field and played over 70% of snaps. I love this line. The Bears-Broncos game is going to be an offensive game. Hopefully,
Shootout.
Let's be entertained by two of the worst teams in football, to be honest with you.
I'll take that line with you, Drew.
Okay,
I'll take
all right.
the over on Jerry Judy's yards.
All right, Cortland Sutton, 57.5, a yard difference.
I'm gonna take both of them on this game.
We really
I'll
shook
take
us.
it over on
Now,
everybody
Joel
for
and
the
I
Broncos.
talked about this guy in the fantasy reaction. Actually, Joel's sit of the week, DJ Moore, over 47.5 receiving
Smash
yards.
it.
This guy was one of those that I feel comfortable playing, and I don't know if I feel comfortable putting money on it because the way that offense has been ran so far, you can't trust that they're going to play the mismatches. If as someone who understands how good DJ Moore is, understands how teams have played the Broncos, try and get Damari Mathis on their number one, like the Commanders did with Terry McLaurin, and Terry McLaurin was able to expose that matchup and get into the end zone. That's what I'm hoping that the Bears are smart enough to do, but they've lacked, or there's very little trust for me to put into this Bears offense to believe that they will be smart enough to take DJ Moore away from Surtain. So it's one of those. I'm staying away from this one also.
What's the three that you're going with?
I love Russ over 1.5 passing touchdowns. He's been phenomenal this season in terms of just raw statistics. He's been throwing touchdowns pretty consistently throughout the season. And honestly, I'm going Jerry Jeudy, 56.5 receiving yards as well. Those are my two picks for this game.
Justin Fields, passing yards over. Russell Wilson, a touchdown and a half over. And I'm going to go DJ Moore yards over.
I'm going to go just two straight dangerous ones.
Okay.
Over on the passing yards,
Did you just
over
call
on
him
the
dangerous?
touchdowns.
He is
Dangerous.
dangerous. And Mr. Unlimited, don't you forget. I'll tell you this, the only reason I'm concerned about the passing yards, kind of similar to last night's game script where the Broncos could go up big, and then we really just decide to make it a Javonte Williams game script's completely out of Russ's hands. Yeah. That's the only reason why I'm staying away from the yards. I still feel comfortable with the touchdowns, but I get where you're coming from. They should light up the Bears.
That makes sense. We're going to go to the primetime matchup. Chiefs versus Jets on a
flex that shit out.
Wish they could, honestly.
Oh, you saw what they're doing, actually? Because we didn't give love to Taylor and Kelsey on the last episode. We was it?
The bracelet shit?
Yeah. Even the Dov, whatever his name is, I don't want to disrespect him.
Dov Kleiman?
Yeah, facts.
He's not a real reporter, though.
He's not.
Interesting.
He just he steals journalist content.
You know what? I'm actually happy. I'm happy to hear that because if they would have been doing that on an away game, that would have been insane.
Jordan Schultz tweeted, and Jordan Schultz reliable. He's broke a ton of
that's
news this year.
Facts.
But Connor Hughes refuted it
sure.
because the Jets would have to put a stamp on that and say, yeah, let's do it. And why the hell would the Jets, give out
away
Kansas
team?
City Chiefs?
Don't happen at home.
The thing is, because Taylor Swift is a megastar.
Yeah.
She's a megastar.
Taylor Swift.
She bigger than Drake?
Yeah.
Yes.
I had to ask you.
Yeah,
I
she's
know our
bigger than
answer,
Drake.
but I had to ask you.
Because there's been a huge thing with Drake to the fact of that he can't play stadiums, which I think is bullshit. He just likes arenas. But Taylor plays in stadiums that fit 80, sometimes 100,000, and she's performed in 20 NFL stadiums. Like, that's a stupid number.
Tough.
And, of course, she's going around the world. She's global. Not that Drake isn't, of course. He is.
Taylor Swift is just more famous.
Yeah, she is.
She's just more famous. Thursday night. Sunday Night Football, Chiefs at Jets. I'm going to name you three props. Tell me if you're going over or under on them. Zach Wilson, 170.5 passing yards.
Under.
Smash the fucking under.
Under.
Does Zach Wilson get benched in this game?
Ooh, over under what quarter?
Halftime.
No, I think he'll stay by halftime.
I think he plays the whole
What's
game.
the line again?
178.5.
He hasn't hit that once this
Who's the
season.
guy? Tim Boyle?
Boyle, yeah. I
Tim
think
Boyle is the
Simeon's going
backup.
to be inactive.
You're beasting to get Simeon out there.
I'm beasting. At this point, I'm beasting for Tim Boyle. I'll be
And
honest.
honestly, the Jets have had a rough schedule, which even coming into the season, we knew this. Bills, Cowboys, Patriots, the highest passing total he's amounted so far is 170.
Is that against the Bills?
That was against the Cowboys where he threw 3 interceptions.
I'm going under on this as well. Next one is Patrick Mahomes over 2.5 passing touchdowns.
2.5.
2.5, really?
Against this Jets defense, you know it's a
I
stingy
mean, y'all might
unit.
get tired of shit because y'all going to keep having to get back on that field.
2.5. He did that last week against the Bears. The Jets defense, it's been good. It hasn't been the absolute lockup defense that we were expecting coming to the season outside of week 1. 2.5.
I would stay. I'm staying away.
Yeah, I want to.
staying
Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah.
All right.
Over
good.
under.
I'm gonna.
Or you
no,
want to
but
stay away.
That's what I'm saying.
You want to just stay away completely.
Yeah,
I don't
staying away
love
from
this.
that.
That's fine. Zach Wilson over just half a touchdown. So just needs one passing touchdown.
Just half
Needs one passing touchdown.
under.
He's done it in 2 of the 3 weeks.
Under.
But also one was to Garrett Wilson where he made that crazy ass one-handed catch,
The other one
and the
was
other one was to
Wilson,
Garrett Wilson who
went
really just
60
did
yards.
everything.
I mean, he can get one.
Against Kansas City, to be honest, but Justin Fields did get one in garbage time. I'm actually gonna say he gets one. Yes, I don't want to take this line
I'll ride with Dehls. I mean, I said Dehls. I'll ride with Jrue.
for
I'll go over.
a vibe. I'll
This is not a vibe.
no.
It's not a vibe at all.
I mean, just so we don't just say we don't answer 2 props back to back. We
Go
got
over.
I'm sorry, it was a tricky one.
it was.
Let me
Do they
give you.
have his interceptions? I'll go over on that.
Hey, he didn't throw an interception against the Patriots. That was only positive of the game.
This is my bad. I had to mention the man of the week, Travis Kelce, because we know that thing with him and
course,
Taylor
of
Swift going on.
course.
Travis Kelce, 75.5 receiving yards. Taylor Swift will be in attendance for this game.
Second week in a row, man.
This is
Rodgers
why.
might be at the game too.
It's a love story.
I'm going over on this. I think Travis Kelce puts on a show. 100 yards, a touchdown. I think he puts on
You know
a
what's
show.
funny, dude? Last week, when we found out Taylor was going to be at the game, my boy Frank was just like, you know what? I'm putting in that he's going to score not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns. He goes for an all-time game. He scored 1 at least, so he
touchdowns.
he put a bet in on 1 touchdown. He put a bet in on
The
2
latter,
touchdowns. He
yeah,
put
I
a bet in
respect
on
that.
3. I do respect it too. 75, you said?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I feel good with this one. I think that he could dominate this matchup.
Taylor's really
Go
going to
over.
Bears games and Jets games. God bless her.
What do you think? Sauce gonna?
She done-
No,
she
he
didn't know
doesn't
a
shadow
single
him.
They
person
talked
that-
about it. Robert Saleh said I didn't think it happened because he shadowed Mark Andrews a bit last year. So it wouldn't be surprising if he played him.
75.5.
That's Kelce.
I don't love these lines for this Jets game,
Hey,
honestly.
Quincy Williams, #1 rated coverage linebacker.
You know what I would do? Because obviously I know player props is the highlight of what we want to do in Mojo Fantasy right now. But alt spread 2 touchdowns for me. This would be one of those games that I look at. Alt spreads have been pretty good for me on Mojo so far. I did it with the Dolphins versus the Patriots. I did it last night with the Lions and the Packers. Took the alt spread at 6.5. It was at plus 200. Double my money
Taking
immediately.
Chiefs -14,
Minus 13.5.
13.5. What's
So
odds
it-
on that?
Let's see, actually, because right now the spread last I saw was 9.5.
Yeah, I'm shocked the spread's only 9.5. I would.
It should be
we're-
more.
We're getting smoked. Don't get
That was the
twisted.
spread versus the Cowboys.
It was, yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, give me that.
Yeah, they don't have the alt spread for this game yet.
And not yet. But the 2 props we're going to go with when it comes to the Jets and Chiefs, when that seems like we agreed on, was going under on the Zach Wilson yards, going over on the Travis Kelce yards. Big time game with Taylor Swift in attendance. Now, Riv, what do you got going on?
My time to shine, baby. I got Baltimore in the Cleveland game. My
Okay.
first bet, they got Lamar Jackson line at 205.5 passing yards. This is the best defense he's played this year. Stingy defense. Are y'all going over or y'all going under?
I'm going to go under on that. Rashad Bateman's not playing. Odell Beckham Jr. is not playing. Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, I like them as weapons, but that offensive line is still a bit hobbled up. We know the Browns secondary gets after it. They can cover well. I'm going to go under on that passing yards prop.
It's one of those that we finally see. Well, let's exclude week 1 where it was raining a ton. Cincinnati, we know that they're an elite offense, or haven't shown that so far, but we give them that respect and acknowledgement. To me, this is the first elite test that the Browns have faced. And obviously, early on, we've seen them be statistically one of the best defenses that this game's ever seen through 3 weeks, of course. I don't know if I trust this line
It's
enough.
205. 205 is low.
He's only hit it once, though.
Nuts.
And that was against the Bengals.
My MVP pick.
Lamar?
Yeah. It's
could
not
have
looking too
worse.
good. Yeah.
I guess it wasn't that. It's not a bad pick.
Well, now it's kind of crazy. Before it
No, it's
wasn't.
not. He loses
a long
one.
way
They've only lost
this
one
season.
game.
I need him to lock in, though.
He can. He's looked great, honestly.
Starts here, though.
Because last
Over
week-
under, buddy. You're doing too much
I really
talking.
don't know.
Over under.
I
Come on.
disagree.
Stay
2-0.
away.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna stay
Cop
away.
out.
I appreciate that.
Cop out.
Cop out.
Next one. So my second pick is going to be Deshaun Watson. Over or under on 1.5 passing TDs. I'm talking mainly to you, though, because you're not a big Deshaun Watson guy. And his shoulder's injured. We have an excuse this week.
So he needs 2 touchdowns.
We have an excuse.
Shoulder injury. I think this is going to be a defensive battle on both sides. I'm going to go under on that one as well.
Talk to me,
He
buddy.
needs to get 2 touchdowns, correct? You know what?
Passing.
I think he does that, actually. I'm going to go
Are
over.
you locked in on that?
I'm locked in on that one.
Okay. And they got this guy, Gus Edwards, yards up here.
This guy.
35.5 rushing yards, over or under.
Gus Edwards is a good back. I'm going to go over on that one.
Think so.
I think if the Ravens are going to move the ball consistently down the field, it's going to be with the rushing attack.
No, Derrick Henry had 20 yards.
I was going to
last
say
week.
the snap percentages were completely.
Their offensive lines are different.
Offensive line's different. Are they healthy this week? Are they coming back? Linderbaum, Staley?
They're on
That's
pace
a good
too.
question.
That's good.
And Justice Hill's injured.
And Gus is coming through a concussion as well. That's something to
He
monitor.
cleared, though.
Also, he's cleared. That's
Pretty
good to
sure,
hear. But yeah, like we just mentioned last week, Derrick Henry was pretty bad against.
The whole Titans was bad.
Yeah, but even to the point where Derrick Henry came out and was just like, I just got to be better. It's simple as that. This motivated me to lock in. I'm going under on this one.
And then one more. I wish Dehls could jump into this one. This is Elijah Moore.
Real.
Passing yards, 43.5, over under.
To be honest with you, I love this one, actually.
He's been good.
The secondary's been banged up. Elijah Moore seems to be a early favorite target for Deshaun in terms of DPJ versus Elijah Moore. That was a big question coming in. Would you say 46.5? 43 and a half.
It's a little high for Elijah Moore.
It is.
I
Depending
think
on
last week he got it over.
depending on the weather, it could obviously change the game script, but I like that line. I feel like this could be a big Elijah Moore game.
The 3 I'm going with is Lamar Jackson under passing yards, Deshaun Watson under on the touchdowns, and Gus Edwards over on the rushing yards. Those are the 3 I'm going to go.
I'm going to go over on Deshaun's touchdowns of 1.5. I'm going to go under on Gus's rushing. And I'm going to go over on Elijah Moore receiving of 43.5.
What are you going with, Riff?
Out of those, I'm going to go under on Lamar Jackson's passing yards. I'm going to go over on Deshaun Watson's touchdowns. I think he'll have 2. And I'm going to go over on Elijah Moore's receiving yards because I think for him to have 2 TDs, he needs Elijah Moore. Coop is coming off a big, big week. So I think they'll have a big game.
Now we'll get into the last game, Drew. Bills, Dolphins.
Here we go.
Come on, man.
And then we'll start the NBA podcast.
Okay, of course, we have to go over Tua Tagovailoa, the most impressive quarterback to start this NFL season. Going up against the Bills. It's going to be an amazing game. Over under 279.5. The game is in Buffalo.
I seen this stat somewhere that teams that come off of these great historic scoring performances are 1-6 coming out of those. I'm gonna go under on this Tua.
What was it?
prop.
What was it?
279.5.
So I actually looked it up. Tua has only hit that mark twice against the Bills. He played them 6 times.
Okay. But he hasn't been this Tua. Last year we saw him be.
Well, the first time he hit it, he had 361 yards.
Was that against? Was that
2021.
that was the game that he was
The
horrendous.
last one he played was 234.
Oh,
Went in the
last year
snow.
when they went in the
And
snow.
then before that was 186.
That was when he had the concussion.
I'm going to go under.
Okay, Jordan Poyer is not going to be playing.
Yeah, I know Taylor
Damar
Rapp
Hamlin
is-
will be making his debut. That's amazing to hear,
Shout out to him.
for sure. I'm 279.5. I'm actually going to go under on this one. I think that there's going to be more to we're automatically going in with the idea that it's going to be a light show. It's going to be Tua versus Josh Allen. The Dolphins are going to play it smart. They're not going to play into their hand. We already saw that with New England. Tua was able to manage the game wonderfully. We're able to come away with the win in Foxborough. I feel similarly with this one, where it could be a big Tua just makes the reads that he needs to push the ball down the field. And we see Mostert, we see A-Chain go ahead and get things going on the ground as well. I'm going to go under on this line. Oh, it's still my turn, obviously. And we'll stay on Tua here, being over under 1.5 passing touchdowns.
I'll
This-
go over.
I'm staying away from
Staying away from this one.
Over.
Okay.
I'm going over on this one.
I'm with you, Riv. I feel like even still, they get into that red zone. That's where we still can see Tua being active as a passer. Now let's get on to Josh Allen, the other story of this game as well. One of the best quarterbacks in the game.
Is his 1.5 passing touchdowns?
His is also 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Over
on that.
He kills. He kills.
I'm going over
the
on
Dolphins anytime they play. I love that actually. I'm gonna go over as well.
Do they have his interceptions?
They don't have his interceptions.
You were taking that?
Makes sense. I mean, when was the last time he went back-to-back weeks without an interception?
It's been a minute. Probably last year.
2021, I think, something like that.
No, he just did it.
He did it once.
versus the
Oh,
Raiders.
did he?
Yeah.
Oh, Raiders and
No, Commanders. He
Commanders.
threw an interception.
No, Commanders, but I'm talking about from the Jets to the Raiders game.
No, that's
he
it.
threw
It needs to be back-to-back
Back-to-back.
games
Oh,
He
back-to-back
threw an
games.
interception. I didn't even know he threw
without throwing an interception.
No, last year he did it once. Like if I had, he probably did it once.
I'm
last
telling. I think what I saw was 2021. If you could
I'll
look
give it
that
a
up.
glance.
All right, I appreciate that. Gonna go to one of the bigger stories in Buffalo season so far, and that's gonna be James Cook, who has been amazing for them back-to-back weeks, over 100 rushing, 58.5 rushing yards. To me, this was my start of the week on the Fantasy Reaction Show. I think that the defense is gonna hone in on Josh Allen and force Josh Allen to hand the ball off. They've shown a likeness to do it these past couple of weeks. James Cook has been overly efficient. I love this line. This is definitely one of my bigger plays of the week.
Josh did it twice last year, weeks 2 and 3. Then he went on a 3-week stretch from 13 to 15. It looks like.
Thank heavens he did it twice.
We've seen the vulnerability with the Dolphins defense come
I
from
wonder if
the
it's
rush
a turnover.
defense.
Did he fumble in those games?
He did.
Yeah.
That's
No, he did go. Wait. Never mind.
He fumbled.
Well, he had 3 fumbles in week 3 last
yeah.
year. Okay.
So I think that's what it is. He's
Well, who was that against?
Week 3. That was against Miami.
But the statistics.
It was 700 degrees.
He had
that
400
day.
yards. Yeah, and 2 touchdowns.
and in the snow, he was even more impressive.
Yeah.
He had
so
300
was
yards that game.
He was OD.
304, 4 touchdowns.
The vulnerability with the Dolphins defense has been the rush defense. Week 1 versus the Chargers, it showed, and then they didn't face any efficient run offense after that.
That's exactly
I'm
what I
gonna go
said.
over on James Cook. I'm gonna take that line.
Talk to me, Riv. You like this one? Or you're gonna stay away.
I already have 3, but I do like this line because I think they're going to hand off the ball more to Cook. They've trusted Cook with the running game, and I think that's going to be one of the ways they win this game off balance attack.
I feel like I have to do this because the number's pretty damn high. Tyreek Hill, 92.5 receiving.
he doesn't play well against Buffalo.
Okay.
So I don't know if I would.
I got my 3. I got Tua under on the yards, Josh Allen over the
99 is a
touchdowns,
lot.
and James Cook over on the rushing.
I know
yards.
this one I felt pretty comfortable answering. So yeah, mine's gonna be Tua Tagovailoa under 279.5. That's not indicative of how I feel he'll play. I think it'll just be in terms of just game plan. It'll be more catering to the run and taking his shots whenever they're available. I'm going over Josh Allen touchdowns, and I'm gonna go over James Cook for 58.5 rushing.
Tua's passing under, Tua's touchdowns over, and Josh Allen's touchdowns over.
Okay, I love that.
We're in love with Mojo Fantasy. It's a crazy new app that turns sportsbook odds and selections into fantasy contests. Here's how it works. There are thousands of NFL and MLB player props. You build a portfolio, and the better your portfolio performs, the more cash you win. Pick as many props as you want and try to beat the crowd. It's a whole new way to play fantasy. The props act like stocks, so you can buy and sell live all game long. It's the only fantasy app that lets you make moves after the game starts, so you're not stuck with a bad pick. You can cash in on a hot start or just hang on and let them ride. That's it. Make picks, make moves, make money. Check it out on the Apple App Store now. They're coming to more states and adding more sports soon. On to the NBA portion of this podcast. We're going to talk about this one subject first and then go into the trade details and how it affects each team. The Blazers and Dame finally divorced, and a report came out from Chris Haynes that Joe Cronin told Dame that there was no coming back. They had a meeting in Dame's mansion, and Dame said, if I can't get traded to Miami, I want to rescind my trade request and come back to Portland. And to that, Joe Cronin said there is no coming
Be good, love.
back. How does this make you feel? Do you feel bad for Dame in this situation, or do you think Joe Cronin stood his ground and did what was best for the Blazers organization?
I think there comes a point where GMs have to put their foot down. I think it comes to a point where they feel like they can't let a player step over them, walk over them. They have to do what's best for the fans, what's best for the organization. And eventually it came to a point where Dame leaving was the best for this organization. They couldn't compete no more. They weren't in a position where they could win a championship or even get close to it. So in that aspect, this is understandable. But also on the other side, Dame has made some very questionable decisions this summer, talking about the grind, and he's been going out of his way every year to throw shots at other players, Paul George and Kevin Durant, for example, guys who, quote-unquote, run from the grind. And then he kind of sees Miami go on this storied run, a Cinderella story, as we like to say, make the finals and decides, I want to go there. That's someplace I want to go, and it's fine. I feel like it's fine to have your preferred destinations. Kevin Durant, he wanted to go to Phoenix. That's a preferred destination. That's fine. But I think to, kind of shut everything else down and say, I just want to go here, I think it's weird. I do also think going into a meeting, telling a GM, I want to go here, but if I can't go here, I just want to come back. That's kind of like basically saying you have all the power in the world. And as a GM, I understand where Cronin is coming from. You can't just want to leave, pick a sole one destination, and if we can't find a deal, decide, oh, yeah, I'm going to just come back. That's not how life works. Cronin made an easy decision. If you don't want to be here, that's fine. You can go wherever you want. But if we can't find you, we can't get a deal in this place, you're getting out of here regardless. And I respect that because as a GM, you kind of have to, set a standard, set a tone.
Stick to your guns.
Stick to your guns. You kind of have to put that leadership ability up front and say, listen, I'm going to set a standard here. This is what's going to be in the Portland organization. And they kind of need that vibe. And as much as Dame has done for that organization, because, he's a top 2 Blazer ever. It's probably him and Clyde Drexler. He's done everything he can for that organization.
Bill Walton, bro?
Oh, shout out to Bill Walton, pardon me. Shout out. I got to respect Bill Walton.
For sure.
Legend.
CJ McCollum.
Nuts.
Brendan Roy.
Nuts, but legend.
Nurkic
is insane.
Is DeAndre in the number 1 overall pick
Lamar
that the
Odom.
Blazers always wanted?
Lamar Odom, excuse me. Greg Oden.
Lamar Odom's nuts.
I know.
DeAndre, I just
He never saw Greg Oden, so Ayton is the second best thing at center.
Ayton is the second coming of Greg Oden.
Ducksworth.
Kevin, but I think I don't mind what Jim Cronin has done. I don't have a feeling about it because I feel like Dame handled everything wrong. There was multiple opportunities where he could have went somewhere else, but just picking Miami, wanting to play with Jimmy and Bam and all that stuff, and kind of creating this whole narrative that you created the run from the grind mark. You created this whole, I don't want to join super teams. I want to win in my way, which is fine. Nobody's going to knock you for that. But then this summer, you made a complete flip, a complete 100% turn. Now it's all of a sudden, I just want to go to Miami. I want to play with Bam, this, that, and the third. So I don't mind Cronin doing what he did.
We have to understand this. Chris Haynes is a reporter who has a lot of relationships with players. He has a relationship with Dame. This article seemed very much framed in Dame's favor. You didn't get Joe Cronin's perspective on what happened at the meeting. It's all from Dame's perspective. And given that Dame requested a trade, said he only wanted to be traded to one destination, he tanked his trade value to 28 other teams. He basically made it known that if it's not the Heat trading for me, I don't want to play for your organization. And if that's the case, as a GM, if you tell me that if I can't trade you to this one place where the trade package isn't that attractive to begin with, why should I want you back? You want to leave us, and now you want to come back just because you don't want to go to the team that if we trade you to, we're not going to get the maximum value for you. On top of that, they drafted Scoot Henderson with the 3rd overall pick. Scoot now gets an uplift in terms of how he's going to experience the NBA because he's going to be the lead guard in Portland along with Anthony Simon. So you bring Dame back, you're hurting the growth of these young players. Although he's a great mentor, the usage on the court would be much different, and he'd get a lot of those opportunities. The Blazers, the best move for them was to move forward with these young players in this franchise, and I feel like Dame, he made his bed, and he has to lay in it. He asked for a trade. You ask for a trade, you're going to get traded. We know the Blazers are not going to compete. Had Dame came back to Portland, what's the storyline with the Blazers all year long? When is Dame going to get traded? When is he going to get traded because he's being wasted in Portland? And right now, this is the most they can get for Dame because he's only going to get a year older after the season ends. So I think Joe Cronin did a good job. I feel for Dame because he's given 11 years to this organization, 8 playoff appearances, a Western Conference Finals appearance, and Joe Cronin throughout this entire process has told him that he wanted to build a winner and a contender around him. But Dame is not a dumb guy, man. You look at the Blazers, you know they're not in any position to compete. The Wizards could have told Bradley Beal throughout this entire time they want to build around him, but we know the Wizards don't have the assets to actually do it. It's the same thing with the Blazers. I feel like Dame recognized that, and ultimately, I don't know why Dame is trying to spin this story so he looks like the great guy in all of this. You got to go play with Giannis. You guys are arguably the best duo in the NBA. You're playing for a championship. Just get traded, play, and don't try to make the Blazers organization look bad now just because you got traded. Just because you didn't go to the exact destination that you wanted to. Boo-hoo, you went to the other top contender in the East. I mean, things could be much worse for Dame, and I feel like the story was just painted to make Dame look like the person that never wanted to leave Portland when we knew he wanted to leave all along.
The relationship between Dame and Cronin, it was done. You know, I mean, first of all, the article, it did paint a good picture for Dame. Part of the article was saying that Dame was in Portland. He was working out at the arena or their practice facility. He was there for 8 days. Cronin didn't say a word to him. Like, he was going around. There was people there. He was saying what's up, being a normal person. Cronin did not say a word to him. Then you also have the 4-page, letter he put out there on social media. He shouted out every person. The previous GM didn't say a word about Cronin. So the relationship between those two, we're obviously done. There was no way going back to that. And listen, Dame put in over 10 years in Portland. He deserves wherever he wanted to go. But he also has to understand Portland's side of things, right? Like, if he wants what's best for the Trailblazers, and like Joel said, if Dame's like, I'm just going to Miami, Dame has to have that self-awareness to know, if I say this, then my trade value is going to go down, and I'm not going to have as many options out there. So if Dame's going to go public like this, and he was public even though it wasn't strictly through him, whether it was his agent or leaks out in the media, this whole trade saga was so public. Everyone knew what was going on. Everyone knew it was always Miami, and then a few days ago we hear about the Bucks getting involved. Like, everything that should have been kept behind closed doors was out open to the public, was out open to the media. If I'm the GM of the Blazers, I'm pissed off too. Now, Dame has obviously a very special place in Portland's heart, right? He's going to go into their Hall of Fame. He said this will be my home forever. One day, we'll come back and be one again. But at some point, you just got to say what's best for the team. And for this Blazers team, they're rebuilding. What's the point of having Dame on this team and you're taking away, the potential and the development of Shaedon Sharps and Scoot Andersons and Anthony Simons? Like, you have all of these guards that you want to build up. These guys that have shown a ton of potential. Scoot's obviously a rookie, but, hyped up as one of the best prospects in this class. So I think Dame was just lacking a bit of self-awareness that if he came out and said, listen, these are 8 teams I want to go to. Things are different now. I'm giving you options as a GM. Or give 4. Don't just give 1 and then 2-3 months later be like, you know what? I'm also all right with Brooklyn and Milwaukee.
It's Miami.
He gave him 1 team, just Miami. That's poor self-awareness on Dame's part.
Be honest, it's Miami. If you don't understand where he's come from.
But if you be like, my preferred destination is Miami, but I don't mind these other teams. It's like, all right, I have as a GM, you have options. But if you just say no, it's Miami, I don't care about all. You already put a GM in a tight position.
That's where, listen, I feel my thoughts are pretty all over the place on this side. Where Dame said, if you're not going to trade me Miami, I'll stay here, right? It's the way that he handled it, to essentially what Joel was saying. It was pretty poor execution by him on Instagram. He's previewing and really hinting at the fact of him potentially teaming up with Miami, or teaming up and being on the Miami Heat. It was not handled the cleanest. Now, this is where it's going to be tough when all 4 of us have the same opinion, but this is just sometimes how you shake it. How can I be upset at Cronin when a player comes to me, sits down and says, trade me. I don't want to be with this franchise anymore. Then he goes and changes his mind. Are you expecting me to forget that our conversation that we had in the first place never happened? Is that what's supposed to happen? So then you're surprised, you're shocked, you're hurt that
we don't want you back.
I don't want you back on my team, as if I'm supposed to have goldfish memory? That's not how it works. That's not how the human mind, that's not how human interaction works. Sometimes relationships, whether you like it or not, don't go the way that you plan. That's life. So listen, am I going to side with Dame here in terms of we've seen players move on from their original team and ask to be traded to a specific location, and they do get traded there. James Harden, not once but twice, with the Nets and to Philadelphia. We saw Paul George get traded to OKC and then to the Clippers. It's like and history has shown us Anthony Davis as well got traded from the Pelicans to the Lakers, the team that they wanted to go to. Kevin Durant as well. There's been one guy that, off the top of my mind, that got traded to a spot that he didn't want to go to, and that was Kyrie Irving. And no one cared. No one gave a fuck that Kyrie Irving didn't go to the team that he wanted to. Right? It was because it was Kyrie Irving, and he didn't do anything for the Nets to ultimately cater to his wants. They didn't care. But Kyrie Irving, when he was able to, was on the court and was one of the best players to ever put on a Nets uniform. Now, in this situation, I understand there's much more loyalty on Damian Lillard's side with the Portland Trail Blazers. That's for sure. And there should have been that mutual respect for Damian Lillard. We didn't see that. But again, how can you be surprised if you're Damian Lillard that the owner did not, or excuse me, that the GM did not cater to your needs, especially when you know the direction of the team?
And one thing I'll say, just to refute the Paul George and AD thing, those packages were just different, right? Like,
And also, Paul George did not want to go to OKC.
At least OKC
Really?
to
Where
at
do you
least
wanna go
OKC
to
to
at
LA,
first?
you get SGA. At
He
least
wanted
for
to go to
AD
LA or Cleveland.
and AD,
OKC
you're getting
came out the
Brandon
blue.
Ingram.
Okay.
Miami has,
But
Miami's
the Clippers,
is
he wanted to
Tyler
go to
Hero.
the Clippers.
Yes.
Miami's package wasn't great. Like, I'm sure
I'm gonna disagree with
Cronin,
this.
I'm sure, but no,
Milwaukee's
those two.
was that much
But
better?
to compare to those two is different because BI was a blue chip
No,
player.
the Lakers
SGA
package was
blue
OG.
chip.
No, Lakers different. I'm talking about Miami's offer for Dame.
It was Tyler Hero.
3 firsts, Tyler Hero.
Was it that? It wasn't that. Like, was Milwaukee's
And I'm
that
pretty
much
sure it
better?
was. And they were also including seconds. Milwaukee's was you're going to get picks for Jrue Holiday, assuming he's going to be traded as well.
Probably get 2 firsts. So you'll end
Ayton's
up
not a
getting 4
bad player.
picks in
We
Ayton.
understand that. You got a first on top of that and pick swaps.
It was Tyler Hero and 3 firsts versus Jrue Holiday, Ayton, a first and 2 pick swaps.
Yeah, I think I like that because Ayton provides them depth at the big position. Of course, you trade Nurkic off your team.
Aiden puts him over the first threshold, though.
In terms of
The salary cap.
got it. Mhm.
A lot of the salary cap will be mute once Jrue Holiday gets traded.
Because
They'll
it's going to be
yes.
Jeremy.
They
it's
won't
gonna-
be over the tax
Yes.
threshold.
They'll have to take some money back though, unless there's a third.
No,
team
yeah, it'll
involved.
still be.
And
It just
another
depends on who they take back.
another question I had to you guys: are you guys going to be upset at Cronin for realizing we can't build a contender around Dame? Dame wanted Cronin to put the number 3 on the block, sell that number 3 pick to get him another star or superstar in Portland. When you realize the team around them would have been Nurkic, Jeremy Grant,
Oh, we realized this 3
Anthony
years
It
ago.
would have
Simons.
been mid.
What would you have wanted Cronin
They were
to
trying to
do
get Pascal
in
Siakam.
one offseason that would even put them, for any of us, to call them contenders? You'd be having to do
Magic.
God's exactly.
Yeah.
It really
There's-
would be
there's no
doing
world.
In
some
the West.
witchcraft in the West that we understand is already.
If it was the East, maybe.
Is
He could
definitely
finesse.
more stacked. There's a ton of good teams that we consider contenders in the West. Of course, if you exclude the fact that the Nuggets really are just, it seems as if they're in a class of their own. But what did you expect Cronin to do to build a contender around them in one offseason? You're asking so much.
Dame just had a lack of self-awareness in this whole process.
And it's shocking. Dame has been one of the most self-aware guys.
Yeah, it was a lack of, like, there's just no way like, obviously you look at the team, it's not ready to compete, and then obviously you look at the number 3 pick. It was extremely valuable, nobody's disputing that. But at the same time, you didn't even know if Scoot was going 3, like if he was going to be there at 3, so that's also a gamble.
And what were the conversations around number 3? What?
Cat or Siakam? That's not
Siakam,
moving
Cat, and
anybody.
maybe Paul George. But is that even a guarantee that Paul George would have wanted to been moved from the Clippers? Is that a better
There's some
situation for
light
him to
Jaylen
win
Brown
than
rumors,
the
too.
Clippers?
Yeah, those mid-ass Jaylen Brown, like that wasn't going to happen. They wasn't letting Jaylen
Mid?
Brown go. No, I mean, no, not mid.
I'm saying I said late.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
like,
mid-
I don't
mid-
think- I don't know
Towns.
how real they were.
If I'm the Celtics, that's not the worst.
Carl
deal.
Anthony Towns would have put the Blazers
That
franchise
would have been hell.
even behind the A ball
Those
more
dude,
so
$50
than
million.
building around Dame. Pascal Siakam's not getting you nowhere, and he's on a contract here, so he wants to get paid. And listen, the Blazers' best plan of action was to rebuild, and it's been that way for multiple years. The problem with Dame is I think he just didn't understand it was really a business. I think he got surprised that the NBA is actually business. I don't know how many stories of NBA players coming out and telling everybody it's a business until these players realize it's a business. And I think when both sides realize that, the easier it's going to make these conversations about who did one another wrong. Giannis went on podcasts talking about, I'm going to leave the Bucks if they don't build something around me. That got them Dame.
That was a business move by Giannis.
a great
LeBron was signing 2-year deals in his prime,
Yep.
so he always had flexibility.
Kawhi
This is a
said, if you don't
business.
give me PG, I'm not
I'm not coming.
I'm not coming at all. That's a business move.
I'm a big proponent of when you are a free agent,
Just be
that's
real.
your time to shine. You have fair game to do whatever you want.
Just be real.
And that's agreed. You
Just
do
be
have
real
to
in the
be real. You do
conversations.
have to be. But Dame had 4 years left on his contract. What leverage did
didn't
Dame
have to
have?
re-sign that
He
extension.
did not at all. He
did not
had a
have to do it.
clear opportunity to sign wherever he wanted, and we wouldn't even be having this discussion at all. We would have understood in free agency if Dame wanted to walk away from the Blazers. It was understood they're not in a position to compete at all. But now you're going to make it as if the Blazers are the bad guys when you signed that extension.
They
You have
still
4
blessed
years
him.
left.
Listen, he still ends up in
Exactly.
Milwaukee. I'm not. You can't sit here and make me feel
we
bad for
Did we
teaming
send
up
him
with
to the
Giannis.
Pistons?
I
Did we
think
send
he-
him to the Hornets?
I think
No,
he
we sent him
realized
to
when they
arguably
was
the best team in the
when they was
East.
talking about Brooklyn was the destination. He looked at it. And he was like, no. Then they was talking about Toronto. He was like, no. Like even the situation, like the other teams outside of Miami, Milwaukee just came on recently, but other those teams like. Outside of Joel, nobody thinks Dame in Brooklyn's really moving the needle.
Nick
you know?
Claxton,
violated
Mikal,
Josh.
Cam
It's
Johnson.
not really like
That'd be a fun
Even-
second round
that'd
team.
have been a
They
fun
really
second
looked at it
round
like this shit ain't getting done over here. Like so, Miami was like Jimmy Bam. I could do like we could win over here.
Yeah,
They just
so-
went to the finals.
Don't act like you wasn't vouching for Dame to go to Detroit. You thought him and K could do some
That was a
damage
good
over
lie.
there.
I'll be honest.
I'll
That was
tell
an
you this.
insane lie. But
Here's,
okay,
here's the truth. We all knew that if Dame would have went to Miami,
Shit
we're
was up.
calling them the favorites.
But also, people were talking about in regards to Dame, like, well, Joe Cronin promised to build a contender around
all
Dame.
GMs do.
I mean, listen, it's not like he didn't try. He traded CJ McCollum for Josh Hart. He went and traded a first-round pick for Jeremy Grant. You know, these are players that were supposed to help the defense of the Blazers. What?
Wait. All we were doing was analyzing the names. That's all we were.
Yeah,
that's literally.
we're not
just-
laughing at
we're
you.
Not laughing
We're
at
not
you. We were
laughing
just
at you.
analyzing
It's
the
just
what I'm
names.
saying, though, is that
that was their
tried.
effort.
We're
He
just
tried
giving
it,
him credit for
but
trying.
that's
Like he made a move.
ultimately the
were naming
Blazers
Josh Hart and
roster.
shit.
The Blazers roster, they didn't have the type of players or assets to move and get big time
for sure.
names
Hey,
or the flexibility.
Got Cam Reddish.
We knew the Dame and
11
and
points per game.
CJ.
Please don't sleep.
We knew this Dame and CJ pairing was over. He traded CJ McCollum. Josh Hart was great for the Blazers to start out. Jeremy Grant and Josh Hart, before Dame got injured, they were at the top of the West. Anthony Simons came out the gates. He was averaging 20 points per game.
Star in the making.
So these were fine players, but then the injuries derails their season. Josh Hart gets traded to the Knicks. What does Josh Hart do for the Knicks? He was one of our best players, and he's a reason why we went on a win streak in the second half of the season. So he brought in some good players. It's just not enough. It's just not enough to compete in the West. And then looking at the current roster, you cannot trade Jeremy Grant. Nurkic, you cannot trade for much. Their roster's full of young players that probably don't go for much on the open market. It was not like he didn't try to make moves. I think all the moves that he made ultimately were solid moves.
Yeah.
Trading CJ
They just didn't
McCollum.
have
They
another
weren't.
star.
They weren't needle movers though. Like those are moves. Like if you have a foundation, you have your 2-3 guys. Like this. This is the core that could take us to a championship. Then you go and you could get a Josh Hart to kind of fill in a role here or there. But if they weren't willing to move a lot of picks and Simons to go get a real superstar, none of the moves were needle movers. You know what I
Had to
mean?
be
They
Simons,
weren't,
right?
but that's the best the Blazers could do. I don't think the Blazers had the assets to make
I agree.
any move
I
that
agree.
could shake up the NBA.
No,
They
yeah.
didn't have the assets to go get Kevin Durant. They didn't have a
also in
Mikal
the
Bridges and
West.
Cam Johnson and 4 first-round picks to go do that. So that's why for me it's like the GM can tell you he wants to build a contender around you, but whether that's realistic or not is a different scenario. And I just don't think in the past couple of years, we viewed Portland and said, well, that's a realistic team that can build a contender around their current superstar. We viewed their assets and said, there's really no way to grow from this. So I think for everybody saying, oh, you know, they promised Dame. I mean, you can promise things, but if you don't have the things to get it done, ultimately you cannot blame the organization for not going all in on a half-ass move.
You think the Blazers also in that article, it was so Dame heavy, like so from Dame's point of view, because in that article also mentions that those last 10 games, the Blazers approached him and said, listen, we want to shut you down, say you have a calf injury. Do you think they'll get fined for that? Because Mavs got fined $750K for the shit they did with Luka at the end of the year. It was just funny that kind of got sprinkled in as Dame's leaving the door. He tells Chris Haynes, "Hey, by the way, They came to me. I was fine. They came to me. We all knew it. But the fact that it's out there in the article.
Yeah, we knew he wasn't hurt.
That's
We
not, it's
spoke
not good
about
look
that
for Portland.
how long ago?
They finessed.
We all knew he wasn't hurt, but he definitely had a plan sitting out. He wanted to sit out as well. Once the playoff picture looked dim, he decided to sit out as well. That wasn't just a 100%
I'll tell you what,
Portland decision.
750,000 for Scoot Henderson. Like,
We're here.
Slick.
The owner's a billionaire probably. So.
Scoot Henderson or Derek Lively.
Oh my gosh, it's not even a question. It's not even a question. Tell you what, Portland, it might be up. Scoot, Anthony.
They did the best. They did what they needed to do, man. Dame, you got Giannis.
It's a new era. Keys
Throw the
go
shit
to
to go.
Scoot
You didn't have
now.
to drop
It's
that
time.
song. You're in Milwaukee.
I'm not listening
I
to
folded. I should have listened.
Portland and
I heard
Miami's
some
nuts.
clips or little snippets here and there.
Portland and Milwaukee's nuts.
That is
the living situation. I hate that.
But that's his kind of, you know what I mean?
But that's what I was saying earlier. Do you blame
Small-
him for
small
wanting
college.
to go to Miami? No tax. On
Lit
top of it, the vibes are immaculate.
You get to see D Wade every weekend. Like everybody's at the games. Like I get it.
I understand why I'm going to Miami.
Yeah. Now who's at the game?
But now you play with Giannis, so he'll survive.
That's really what it is. Milwaukee's going to be amazing. And it's going to be lit.
You're gonna see guys like Tom Hanks at the Bucks arena.
Respect the
the
legend.
Come on. You can see DJ Khaled and D Wade and shit in Miami. Like
Rick
shit.
Ross.
Rick Ross. And it's just
Now,
it's
Miami
more
clear,
vibes.
Miami clear.
LeBron knew what time it was.
Yeah, that's
he
what I'm
knew
saying. Like,
what
it's
time
vibes.
it
And, like,
was.
Gabrielle Union's at the game. Like, it's litty,
Bro,
man.
now they're posted up in Utah.
They are.
Yeah.
That's why it's
No, Utah.
Are you seeing D Wade?
Well, D Wade's always still in Miami.
I mean, I'm
Still
I
Wade
hope so.
County.
of
You're going to
course.
see him
Yeah.
occasionally. Yeah, he's always
He
gonna
probably
be
sees
around
more Heat games than Jazz games.
there.
I
I doubt
would.
that. He's an owner of
Yeah,
the
he
Jazz.
is.
I don't mean shit. He's an
Definitely
owner of
does.
Miami.
He
I
definitely put
I
it up.
definitely think he's.
Bag
Let me ask you a
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
Will
with
you
the
think
Jazz.
you think MJ watches more Bulls games or more Hornets games?
Oh well.
I
I don't know what. I don't know what.
an owner.
I don't know what that man does.
D Wade's like a partial. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
That's an
MJ
easy.
was
That's an
majority.
easy answer though. You know the answer to that.
Yeah,
Hornets.
it's so easy.
What MJ?
Hornets.
Yeah. He's at damn near
To be
every
honest
game.
with
be
you,
honest,
though,
I don't know what he
doesn't
does.
have ties with the Bulls anymore.
Well, he sold most of his ownership
Charlotte?
stake.
Well, as of now,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we,
yeah.
come on, we all know MJ was at Hornets games.
He was.
Yeah.
more than he was watching Bulls games.
Yeah. Yeah.
He slapped Malik
I
Monk
was
in the
gonna
head.
say there's videos of him fucking
Yeah.
cursing out players and shit, bro. Like,
I don't think. I'm gonna be honest with you. There hasn't. They have not filmed MJ at a Chicago game in years.
MJ,
Bro, he probably
Yeah.
doesn't. He doesn't.
Like
fuck
mean,
D
he
Wade
owned
is
another
every
team.
time D Wade's at a Miami game, you know
I'm
he's
wrong
at a
for
Miami
thinking that
game.
Michael doesn't fuck with the Bulls.
Well, you see how people talk about him. and shit.
I mean, really, he left in the ugliest way possible. Ugly way where they didn't give him a chance to run it back. Of course,
All
we
he does is
understand how
golf,
he walked
bro.
away.
I've seen Dwayne
And
Wade at
gamble.
a lot of Utah Jazz games.
he was at a few last year for sure. He be in Miami though.
The Jazz were kind of lit last season.
They're always lit. They pack out.
Taylor Hendricks is there, so I'm there.
Okay. Was that?
I'll be honest, I'm
move?
worried.
Yeah.
I'm worried
You're worried?
about minutes. I hope he gets them.
Does
Yeah, they
John
have- they have
Collins
10
arrive?
bigs.
Yeah,
John Collins will get moved. They'll flip him.
I
Again.
pray.
They'll flip him.
He'll
Honestly,
become an
bring him to
all-star like
LA.
Glory.
Actually, I feel like we
Collins.
already have John Collins
Who's we?
and Rui Hachimura.
No, they play completely different.
Well, it's just he's more athletic.
John, he's
Yeah.
more of a roller. Rui's like a pick and pop. You know,
Sort of, kind of is
mid-range.
John.
nah.
I don't see the similarities that you're seeing right now.
No.
Yeah,
no.
like
no,
John-
there's really not.
John plays a little bit like
So we
old
have
Blake
our own
Griffin.
John.
Just a position.
Yeah. No, John.
they're both fours. That's what you're like. Okay.
Bro's a nut.
Moving on to the next topic, are the Bucks championship favorites after landing Damian Lillard? Right now, they are favorites according to Vegas to win the entire shebang. But the Celtics were favored last year at this time of the season. We know how.
What a
We all know how that turned
stretch.
out.
Mojo doesn't have futures. Let me look up futures.
But I was looking at a sports
Holy Grail.
book and safety.
Way to sell.
Needed to let that one go.
You might have shit yourself.
You know, I've been watching, before we get into this topic, I've been watching a lot of videos of people covering up their farts. God damn it, if it doesn't make me crack up every time. Just throw it like a stupid ass, loud ass fart in the middle of class. That shit gets me every time I watch it. Let's talk about the Bucks.
The top four the top four teams in terms of title odds: the Milwaukee Bucks,
That was crazy.
the Boston Celtics,
He's evil.
the Phoenix Suns, and the
Suns,
Denver
really.
Nuggets at 4.
That's ridiculous.
At plus 600 odds.
You'll never learn.
That's ridiculous.
Do you think the Bucks are favorites to win the championship? Dehls, let's start out with you.
Why you gotta start with me, man? Listen, Milwaukee, we talked about it a bit on the instant reaction. Offensively, you gotta love the addition of Damian Lillard. I mean, half court, their offense struggled a lot because when Giannis is your main engine, in the half-court setting, it could get ugly. He gets stale because he's not a shooter, and then you're going to have other guys out there. Jrue Holiday struggled a ton in this playoffs. But right now, talent-wise, this is the best duo, in my opinion, in the NBA. But we know talent can only get you so far, and fit matters a lot, and matchups matter a lot. So when I look at the East, right now the Bucks are mainly, at least defensively, it's all rim protection. It's Brook Lopez and Giannis. The perimeter, there's a lot to be desired, right? You lost Jrue Holiday, who was your best perimeter defender. Chris Middleton isn't an elite level defender. They're going to have Pat Connaughton or Malik Beasley be playing the 2, and of course Dame at the 1. We're not looking at him like an all-NBAer. So depending on matchup, like if they're going up against Philly, I love it. You're going up against Embiid. You have 2 guys who could bang down low, who could be able to at least limit Joel Embiid, not to the effect that Al Horford can, but can at least limit him. But when I look at, my opinion, I think them and Boston are still right up there in the same tier. And hey, look at the numbers.
He's right,
look
but
at
it's
the
just
numbers.
funny
I
that
look
he
at the
added that
numbers.
in there.
Because when you look at the series, if they have to go up against Boston, I still have those 2 in the same tier. You're mainly still trying to stop wings. You got to stop Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And they don't have perimeter defenders, in my opinion, to be able to stop those guys. Of course, if they get past those defenders, you're meeting a brick wall with Giannis and Brook Lopez down low. But we saw them already be able to beat Milwaukee, be able to get past that, that rim defense when they had Brook and Giannis just a couple of seasons ago. So it's still matchup dependent. I have no problem with them being favorites in the East because you go and you get one of the best scorers in NBA history, one of the best shooters in NBA history, and the fit with him and Giannis is just such a beautiful basketball pairing that it's hard not to see all the possibilities offensively, what they can become. But I still think they desperately need a perimeter defender that can at least limit or get in the way of Tatum and Brown, because I think that's still going to be their last step to get to the finals. I know I'm not bringing up the Miami Heat right now. We have a topic about them later to kind of see if we believe in this 2022 NBA Finals run they had. They lost a lot of people, so you still have to give them that respect. But I don't offensively. Of course, you love what they did, but if I'm looking up them in Boston matching up, I don't think at least defensively it's a better matchup with Dame obviously than it was with Jrue.
You guys want me to go? Or,
The basketball guy, come on, bro.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I appreciate that. I'm with Dehls. Sadly, I fucking hate the Celtics, but I do think the Celtics. You can make a good argument that the Celtics are better than the Bucks. I think with the Bucks, first of all, getting Dame was great. That brings in a new, different vibe to your half-court offense. Dame in the pick and roll, Giannis in the short roll. I think they'll run the offense through Dame because he's just a better offensive player. Nothing wrong with that. No slight at Giannis, but Dame is the shooter, the creator. Giannis is going to do a lot more rolling. I think with Boston, though, their ability with multiple wings, Derek White is a really good defender, Brown, Tatum, they can still cause Dame some issues. And then, of course, with their front court in Horford, Porzingis, Rob, that's still going to give Giannis some trouble. And then on the other side, Giannis and Lopez are going to be stretched out to the perimeters. They're going to have to respect Horford. They're going to have to respect Porzingis. And the Bucks don't have any wings or even any perimeter defenders to really give Brown or Tatum some headaches. The only thing you can do is turn them into playmakers and hope that shit works out because they don't have many playmakers on their roster. But I do think Milwaukee needs to figure out what they got to do in free agency, bringing in some guys because right now the roster looks a little naked. Outside of Middleton and Connaughton, who are plus defenders on the perimeter, I guess, they're still naked in that department. So defensively, they're going to have some issues with a couple teams. Even Miami, they may not have the offense, but defensively, I think Miami can still put up a fight against a Milwaukee. They'll still have the personnel for that. But I think this Bucks team with Dame, Dame bringing in he can unlock Giannis's game too offensively. Giannis could be more of a big man, transcend to more of that roller. Pick and roll is going to be unlocked even more. With Dame, of course, you bring in an elite offensive player that Jrue Holiday just couldn't provide that on that end, which is fine. I do think Middleton being a number 3 is scary in the NBA, because he was always that 2A, 2B, sometimes it's him, sometimes it's Jrue, but now him as a 3, that's a firm thing because we already seen him as a number 2 in the playoff run, so him as a 3 is great. You still got Brook Lopez. Like the front court defensively is still going to be fine. It's just how are you going to get guys in the backcourt or on the wings to stop these guys, make it harder for these guys, and then when they get the rim, they have to see you. That's going to be the only issue. But for the most part, I do think Milwaukee, you have to put them in that conversation with Denver, with the Celtics, with Phoenix, with the Lakers, because you bring in Dame, you have 2 top 10 players in the world. This is still a unit that has Brook Lopez, that has Chris Middleton. So that big 4 is nasty. They're probably one of the best big 3s in the league also too now, whoever you want to plug in. So I think Milwaukee, you got to give them that respect that they're definitely a top 2 team in the East, top 5 team in the league.
Yeah, Joel.
I think these odds are being way too disrespectful to the Denver Nuggets.
No doubt.
I don't know if it's just me, but I haven't seen any team make enough moves for me to say they're the favorites over the Nuggets.
I agree.
To me, the Nuggets are still the favorites to win the NBA championship, and I think right now they should be front runners to 2P. We're talking about Jokic, who just came off a playoff run where he averaged the most points, rebounds, and assists, had the most totals of any player in the playoffs, back-to-back MVP, finals MVP, won a championship. Only 10 players in NBA history have done that. Talking about their starting lineup, the most complete starting lineup in the NBA. Who's going to stop Jokic in the West? Nobody's going to stop Jokic in the West.
Anthony Davis.
Who's going to stop Jokic in the
Steph
East?
Curry's offense.
Brook Lopez is not stopping Jokic. Giannis is not stopping Jokic. And they have defenders in Aaron Gordon, KCP, who were phenomenal for them this past playoff run. And when we talk about Dame and this Milwaukee Bucks fit, I understand Jrue Holiday's efficiency went down in the playoffs drastically. Jrue Holiday.
You say that way too carelessly.
He only dropped 10% from the field.
Well, this is the thing.
He only shot a high. He only shot a high of 31% from 3 with his time in Milwaukee.
Jrue Holiday in the playoffs in Milwaukee is 3 playoff runs, 47.6% true shooting, 59% in the regular season. He dropped off drastically, but I feel like right now we're overlooking Jrue Holiday's impact to this team way too much. Dame is 100% a way better offensive player, and the pick and roll dynamic between him and Giannis is going to be borderline unstoppable. But when it comes to defense, the luxury of having Jrue Holiday knowing that I could put him on your guard, I could put him on your wing, I can even go small sometimes and put him on a big, and he can lock up. That is a luxury that very few teams have, and even though the efficiency numbers aren't there, the on and off numbers when Jrue Holiday is off the court and on, it shows that his impact is felt with this team. Him and Giannis in the playoffs have a +9 on the court together, which is up there with duos like Shaq and Kobe. That's how much their impact is in the playoffs. Jrue Holiday, when they won the finals, when they were down 0-2, Devin Booker was coming off one of the best finals performances that we've seen at that position in the recent years. Jrue Holiday took the assignment and locked up Devin Booker. He locked up Devin Booker. We're talking about Jrue Holiday.
You chat so much shit.
Vibes, man.
No, there's no vibes with that statement.
How?
How? Against a injured CP3, he saved it.
That was a steal on Devin Booker, buddy.
Okay, but regardless,
He was
the
the
one that
wrong
he
guy.
ripped it. No, that's really what his primary.
One of the greatest defensive players ever.
You're making me sick.
You were already sick.
No, one of the best defensive plays in the finals is Giannis's block on Ayton.
Ayton.
That was to win the
both great.
game.
They were both-
That was to
yeah.
win the game.
Now they were both good moments.
Remember,
It was a backdoor alley-oop. He came back and still recovered and
respect Jrue
blocked him.
Holiday.
I'm done with this conversation.
I mean, what are we talking about here? You just went off track for no reason at all. Ultimately, Jrue Holiday is one of the league's best screen navigators, point of attack defenders, and perimeter defenders in the NBA. The downgrade from him and Dame defensively is so huge. Now you go into games, you don't go saying, oh, we got Jrue Holiday. He can guard their best player, and we're fine. We can leave him on an island. With Dame, it's who are we going to hide on Dame in the playoffs? We got to put him on a corner shooter in the playoffs because he's too small to hang with these forwards. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum will both drop 40 on him. And he is, if let's say the hypothetical finals matchup is the Nuggets and Bucks, Dame is not keeping up with Jamal Murray. He's not going to defend Jamal Murray at a high enough level. He's not defending him, but ultimately you need to get stops. You need to get buckets, but you need to get stops. And when we look at the Nuggets and the Bucks, I look at them as a team that offensively, I think even with adding Dame to the Bucks, I trust the Nuggets offense to still be the best in the league, and their defense with the schemes that they've put together in recent seasons with Aaron Gordon, MPJ, and KCP, and Christian Brown now having experience coming onto the scene, I trust them more than any team in the NBA, and the Bucks should not be favorites at this moment to win a championship. We have not seen them play one game together, and I'm not even mentioning the lack of depth that this team has. It's going to be an exciting duo. It's going to be one of the best duos, but the concerns around Dame's defense, they are serious, and they cannot just be swept under the rug because Jrue Holiday, what he did for the Bucks defensively was amazing, and we cannot just ignore his impact like he was a negative for that team.
One thing I will say
You
is,
got me going when you said Brown and Tatum go off for 40. You should have up the Celtics more.
one thing I will say that does hurt for guys for a roster like this. When Steph played the Lakers, what they did a lot was force him to play defense. So that shit makes you really tired on the other end. Keep him in every action. Keep him. The same thing could happen for a Dame in a playoff series that could just force his off. Because Steph shot like 28% of wide open threes. That never happened. So you force him to play defense, force him in every action, could make your offense drop. So that's something that could happen to Dame.
And Dame's stats after the first round.
Oh, they stink.
He averages 25 a game, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, shoots 39% from the field and 31% from three.
After the first round, you play tougher competition. That's the truth, of course, and they're going to hone in.
Well, you got to elevate.
Oh, no, it's not an excuse.
Oh.
It's just what's the truth. You're going to play better teams. They're going to scheme up better against you, and unless you can overcome that, which he really hasn't had the personnel to assist him and relieve some pressure off him.
Really?
Until
I remember
He's
CJ
gotten a
McCollum.
lot-
CJ did save him against the Nuggets. I'm not going to say it wrong.
He's
It's a good
gotten locked
point.
up in the first round before.
So Jrue, we're here.
He did get locked up by Jrue. That's
Future
pretty. That's
Celtics
pretty
for Holiday.
ironic. I am here. I'm hearing
Warrior.
all your statements about defense. That's understood. Of course, we know Dame, and we know that his specialty is not defense. But what he's going to bring to them is high-level offense. Shout out to Mikey, of course, Mikey Groggins, pick a side legend. He shared a bunch of stats with us in terms of isolation scoring and how terrible the Milwaukee Bucks were last season. They were 29th in the NBA in points per possession on isolations with 0.8 points per possession. They were 19th in isolation frequency, only running ISOs 6.3% of their plays.
Good.
Damian Lillard was the second best points per possession in isolation last season. This is exactly what you needed with this offense because there's no real threat who you can just give the ball to and, hey, just go get a bucket. Because there's really a lack of creativity with that offense when in reality it's give the ball to Giannis, hope that he can get to the basket and make a bucket. And if he's getting fouled, let's hope that he makes his free throws, which was a huge blemish on his name in that closeout game for Miami in Game 5 where he missed 50% of his free throws. Even though he went 39 and 20, all people were honed in on was the fact that he shot 50% from the free throw line with, of course, he shot a ton of free throws that game. They needed offense. You got one of the best offensive players in the game right now. I'm hearing you on defense. I'm also hearing you guys with the fact of I don't believe that they should be title favorites over the Nuggets. I'm just going to give you guys a different perspective on why this still is a plus move and why I understand
We know it's a plus
the
move.
positives.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, yes, I get it. Jrue Holiday was a stopper for them, but he wasn't a stopper for them against Miami. Jimmy Butler, that's a tough matchup for him. He's smaller than him. Jimmy Butler was in a different mode in that first round, and he went crazy. He could not guard Jimmy Butler. In the last,
could, though.
no, for sure. In the last 3 seasons, or the last 3 seasons of Jrue Holiday's career, which were all in Milwaukee, the stats show it. He has not been he has not been the same efficient player from the regular season to the postseason. His turnover rate's not great. Even in the regular season, he's one of the most turnover prone guys at the point guard position. So it's not something that I'm looking at and going to dwell on the defensive side of the ball because they still have great defensive personnel on the perimeter you may worry, and that's why I don't have them as my title favorites. But this is one of those moves that will allow me to feel more confident that this team can come out the East. This team will come out the East, in my opinion, because this is the offensive power move that the Milwaukee Bucks desperately needed to pair with Giannis Antetokounmpo.
You also have to mention this is an old team, right? Like you have Giannis, or not Giannis. You have Damian Lillard, who's 33, Jay Crowder, who's going to be getting minutes now, who's 33, Brook Lopez, who's up there in age, he's 35. And a lot of these guys, Middleton too, who's 32, they've been dealing with injuries, right? We've seen Middleton get banged up. We've seen Dame get banged up.
Seen Lopez get banged up.
Yeah, so you're like, of course, young teams, like you're not getting like 23 and 24-year-old teams that win championships, but typically those teams that win championships, they're in their prime. Jokic, Jamal Murray, all these guys are in their physical prime. Of course, Giannis is still there, and that's the most important. And what Dame has last showed us, he's still in his prime too. But once you start reaching those age, you're 30 plus, you're getting to your mid-30s with the injury history. I know, of course, you make this move because you need Giannis to stay in Milwaukee, but also the window to win a championship with this core. I know we said they got to make moves, get younger, get more athletic. This is a great move, but the window still, there isn't a 5-year window to win this championship in Milwaukee. No. You really have like a 1 to 2 year window before, Brook Lopez starts getting 36, 37. Exactly. So it's a great move. You make it, but I think a lot of the issues we talked about after they lost in the first round, we didn't think Dame was going to be available for Milwaukee, was get younger, get more athletic. They didn't really do that with Dame. They got better for sure, but the pieces around them are still a lot of older guys who have injury history.
I think that's an excellent point. Jrue Holiday got done in by Jimmy Butler. It would have been worse with Dame. Much worse with Dame.
But Dame would have never took that.
Who would have? Because Giannis was getting cooked too.
No, it was a terrible matchup.
Who was? Who was going to do it?
No one.
Butler was on.
You just got to outscore them, which Milwaukee couldn't do.
This might be a hot take.
But now they have that luxury of down the stretch of the game, we don't have to rely on Giannis and getting to the free throw line. Now we can give the ball to Dame where that's where he shines.
This might be a hot take, and before I get into that take, how many players on the Bucks do you actually trust to guard the perimeter? Damian Lillard?
No.
You don't. Pat Connaughton?
No. He's better than Dame.
Not great.
Don't be surprised when Andre Jackson sees a lot of minutes.
Trading
this
Grayson,
that's the only guy that I think can guard on this team. Chris Middleton?
Not at this point. He's an okay defender.
I'm going to say yes.
Jay Crowder?
No.
Not at this point.
Malik Beasley?
No. Oh, God, no.
God,
the only player that can guard the perimeter is Andre Jackson, and he's a rookie. You're not relying on a rookie. This might be a hot take. I think if the Miami Heat trade for Jrue Holiday, I'd pick them in a series over the Bucks. If they get Jrue Holiday,
really hot?
and it's Jrue, Jimmy, Bam Adebayo.
I like
if they get Jrue, I think they're better than this Bucks team with Dame and Giannis.
I don't hate that opinion at all. Actually,
I think this Bucks roster is a little bit too.
Drew's one responsibility.
What if they get Harden?
The Heat.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Into that Heat culture.
Oh my God!
Fuck it up.
I was gonna say Harden's
he might get into Miami. He might get into the best shape of his life.
The playmaker in that offense, man. You're gonna take the ball out of Harden's hands.
I'm saying Miami's the party city. You put Harden in the party city.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna make it out. I don't know if he's gonna finish 40 games.
Yeah, Harden doesn't need to go to Miami. That's the last thing he needs.
Yeah, I mean, shit. It's either that or LA. So he's fucked either way.
James Harden can get into the best shape of his career in Miami. I'd pick them over the Bucks too if they get James Harden.
I would tag along with that take. I don't think it's a hot take. I think if the Heat get Jrue Holiday, they're back in that contender tier. I think Jrue Holiday fixes. He is equal as what Vincent and Strus give you. Like, he fixes that insanely. Yeah, like the defense for that Miami team, like that's already, in my opinion, one of the best playoff defenses we've seen. Like, as soon as playoffs hit, I put them as number one. So I think you add Jrue to that to gives another layer. He brings in that perimeter defense. You have Jimmy, who's a perimeter, and he can play off ball, help side. He's great at that. You have Bam, who we know what Bam can do. You now put a situation where you have the Dame and Giannis pick and roll. What's the best counter for that? A Jrue and Bam 1-2 punch. You put Jrue on Dame. You have Bam guarding Giannis. They switch. You're fine still. You can still have things to work. Like, I think.
Switch in what way?
Either
Jrue switches on to Giannis. I give the ball to Giannis in the post. I let him go to work.
Then you send a double team.
Okay, what with who?
Jimmy Butler.
What? I guess, but Jrue, still, Giannis showed the ability to pass out as well.
He also showed the ability to throw the ball out of bounds.
What? You're nitpicking one time?
You're nitpicking a couple times.
I'm nitpicking the game that
matters. We're all nitpicking a couple plays we done seen.
I mean, or you can have just Jrue and Bam blitz Dame.
But am I wrong? Let's just be honest. If you switch on that, you give the ball to Giannis. Drew's there. You send Jimmy. He can kick it out to Middleton because I'm assuming that's where Middleton's. That's who
Miami's one of the best best teams
great, but what is the big issue that we even said last season? They lack big depth. That Bam has to go and play the 5 when he should really be playing the 4. You need that depth at the 5 to allow versatility.
But Brook Lopez is probably going to be on the 3-point line, which you could put Kevin Love there. You could just let Kevin Love sit there.
And just even thinking about Miami in the long term, if they got Jrue Holiday, we're talking about if they meet the Nuggets again in the finals. Let's just say they do.
Yep.
You now have Jrue on Jamal Murray, and he was a big part.
I still don't think they have enough offense though.
But he was a big part he would be a big part of stopping Jamal Murray in that series. And now you can live with Jokic having these performances.
Don't forget Caleb Martin.
They don't have the offense to go up against the Nuggets.
If you take away Jamal Murray,
they also lost.
I feel as if with the way that
Max Strus.
I'm sorry, Joel.
Yeah.
But even still, I don't know if there is at this point taking away a Jamal Murray in the playoffs. That's the hope. Yeah. But from what we saw from last year, what we saw from the last time we saw him in the playoffs, I'm just gonna go off what history's shown us. I don't know if there is a slowing down.
If it's one
Jamal.
guy, it's Jrue Holiday.
Are we still saying that? I have to say.
Yes.
Let me not be a hater. Because it's Jimmy Butler.
You watch
He's amazing.
guys that are 6'8", 6'9".
You're right. That's what it is.
You've
That's
never
what it
watched a
is.
guy his size really kill.
You're
him.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're
Like
right.
it's the wings. They're big. And some maybe how about you tell
And
your
even
fucking
then,
guys to help him?
That's true.
Even then, I'm not going off of one. What was it? 6 game series,
yeah.
5 game series.
It
And
was bad.
saying Jrue Holiday, this is why he's not this great defender no more.
Jimmy averaged
It
what?
was pretty bad.
Did he
Jimmy
average?
was talking
Jimmy was
mad
also
shit.
They were also hitting everything. To be fair,
He's right.
Denver? I still got Denver number 1. Do you guys have any other team? I still have Boston over Milwaukee.
Lakers would beat Milwaukee.
I still got Boston over Milwaukee.
Lakers would beat Milwaukee.
They would.
It's a good matchup.
But I think they're third best team in the league.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I like the Lakers' depth.
I do like the Lakers depth too. They kind of have similar
You
questions.
You also don't have a perimeter
age-wise.
stopper though, to a degree. Like you don't have that. You have
Like
good
one-on-ones.
You have good connectors on
I
defense,
agree with
but
that.
you don't like. I like Vando as a defender, but I still think you need a little bit more.
He can't play.
for the playoffs. Yeah,
He's hard to play.
Austin Reeves is a great defender though.
I think he's a great team defender. I don't think he's a great one-on-one defender.
Great off-ball, on-ball, one-on-one. I can feel you. He's
Yeah.
not bad. He can hold
He's
his
good.
own.
I don't think he's the stopper. Though,
Correct.
is what I'm saying.
Gabe Vincent, not a bad defender either. Not great though.
I like that matchup though, because you got AD for Giannis. Man.
If Vanderbilt can just
Hit a
hit the
three.
corner three,
Yeah.
hit the corner three at a 36%. I'm not asking for the world. 36%.
Respectable.
Right? That's
same
fine.
Okoro.
God knows. He hit 41% since January. Don't sleep.
And why didn't they play him in the playoffs?
Shit fell off badly. I don't know, bro.
I love when you bring up Okoro.
I don't know, man. It's
I
just
brought it up. To be fair, I brought it up.
bad JB Bickerstaff moment. I would have put my boy in. You feel me?
I know you would have started in 48 minutes probably.
What the fuck else we gonna do?
They had Danny Green
Harris
out
LeVert.
there.
We were dying. Like he was the only one that can somewhat guard Brunson. Everybody else was getting cooked. So, but I would say Denver, Celtics, Bucks, Lakers, Phoenix. Those are like
That's
the 5 right now.
Oh
Like,
yeah, Phoenix facts.
I think Denver won, and the other 4 you can kind of shuffle in. I don't really care the order, but I think Denver is one. I don't like. There isn't, like you mentioned it. Teams haven't made comfortable moves to stop the Joker because I don't think there's a move in free agency for that. I think your offensive scheme, like
I think there's nothing you could do to stop the Joker.
I think the only thing, like, unfortunately, like
Don't forget we brought in
What
Torian
took
Prince.
what took the Nuggets over the top this past year?
We brought in Torian Prince also.
he's okay.
He is.
Oh man,
Not even
all right.
exaggerating. And bro's
He
knocked
almost
down.
saved Anthony Edwards' legacy.
No cap. He
It's
had
the
7
Lakers.
threes, didn't he?
Almost saved his legacy. Legacy's cooked.
Y'all thought I was joking.
Anthony
Torian Prince
Edwards?
is a very firm role player for us.
no, he's a good role player.
right.
He's
we
not a
were just talking
defensive
about
stopper.
stopping Nikola Jokic.
Nah, just on the
Yeah,
wings.
Torian
Whoa,
Prince
whoa,
is
whoa.
like-
Who's
did bring
gonna
up
stop
randomly.
We
Jokic?
sidetracked this for Torian Prince. The Nuggets did not become the finals team until Jamal Murray came back. So I think you can still have Jokic go off, but you got to stop Murray. If you can neutralize Murray and make him inefficient, you can beat Denver.
We tried,
You
man.
got to make Joker tired, man.
We tried.
You know what-
And
what-
Jamal
you know what offense
shot
that can do
41%
that, right?
from 3. Or maybe better.
He's amazing.
Y'all couldn't stop those guys.
No, we couldn't stop them.
I'll be
We
honest.
couldn't score open shots.
Jamal added himself to the list of people I hate.
What?
Because he killed us.
Yeah. Oh, facts.
He killed us
I get
every
it.
single game
Hey,
down
Caleb
the
Martin's on my
stretch.
list.
He went
Don't you
nuts.
wish you had Wiggins, man?
I wish I had a healthy LeBron.
That wouldn't stop Murray. I'll be honest.
Even you're right, because even still, I thought you were talking about LeBron, because even still hurt averaged 30 in that series.
No, I'm talking about the D. You couldn't stop.
No, there was no one that could have stopped him.
Hate that for you, brother. Listen, man, you have Joker coming off 40 screens.
I'm just happy he's in the West, man.
Well, you can't even get
You're
out
not
the
even.
East.
I'm just saying, you're not even coming out the
Went to the finals 2 years ago.
What have you done to me lately?
Who has the most recent finals appearance? Warriors?
mean the ring?
Or Celtics or Lakers?
It's literally together.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
You just
He
said
didn't
come out-
cook.
you just
Who has
said
the
come
most
out
recent
East.
championship?
You said
We're
come
here.
out
You
the
and
East.
us. We're here.
Steph Curry and LeBron munchers. I'm sick.
You're a Jason Tatum eater. If anything, you're at the bottom of the barrel with that shit. Like, at least we like legends. You know what I'm saying?
He's 25.
You're right.
And at
He's
least
a
I like
legend in the
Anthony
making.
Edwards.
He's a legend in the making.
He is.
And he's going to be a Laker, and he's going to
40 and 45
let me ask you a
Hey,
question. Let me
Steph's
ask you a
great.
question. When Tatum comes to the Lakers, what are you going to do?
I'm not even.
I tell you what, Dehls, when Tatum hits 34, if he's this good like Steph is, I'll give you $100.
Okay.
He
I'll
won't
put
be.
I'll put a
Modern
reminder
medicine.
in
He's
my
going
phone
to be
for
he's not
9
gonna be
years from
Steph
now.
good.
That's the problem. And I think he brought up Anthony Edwards. I don't know why.
He's
But
a
you
future
know,
MVP.
I was upset because you kind of brushed aside like we can't get out of the East. We showed we can.
You can.
You always can. But
Nah,
you know
we're
the
just
problem
giving
is
jokes.
you did once.
I don't know what it is with Riv and Anthony Edwards. Just doesn't like the guy. I
I'll
don't
be
know
honest.
why.
What's wrong with you?
Lock
in.
What's not to like about Anthony Edwards?
He's a cool guy.
Maybe I don't like him because you always bring him up.
That's the only reason to not like Anthony
It's your
Edwards
favorite
is that.
player.
Yeah, that
It's
is my
Harden.
favorite player.
And I
No,
didn't like
now
Harden's-
it's now
Harden's
and I didn't
never
like
gone.
Harden because of why?
Because it was his favorite player.
Harden is like Harden's like his Aaron Rodgers, and now this is Jordan. Love.
Remember? You know what's funny?
But you didn't like Harden before we even had back and forth about
No,
Steph
no,
and
I
Harden.
didn't
I'm
like
pretty
because of
sure.
his game. But then
Okay.
you just you made the uproar and the anger.
Yeah, but
really.
do you like Edwards' game?
It's cool.
It's cool, just cool.
What the fuck is the problem?
Just cool
You want me to
for
make
Edwards?
It's cool.
What do you mean? His game's awesome.
So because you think it's awesome, I gotta think it's awesome.
You don't think
Could
it's
he be
great?
an
You don't
All-NBA
watch him and be
player?
like, yo,
Yeah.
this guy's
Okay,
special.
I
This
mean,
guy's
all
special.
NBA is.
I said that
pretty
about a lot of
fucking-
guys. But yeah, I said that about
Is he
a lot.
not one of the more
Hard to
entertaining
reach.
players to watch in the league?
Yeah,
Ant-Man?
yeah. I like bad guys though. Ant don't really got
Ant got some bag moves.
nothing crazy. You
Definitely.
know, I like bag.
He got-
He's Darius Garland, you know.
He could get to the rim.
He's got a
at
nice
will.
dunk package.
He does.
He could finish at the rim.
That's not a
People
bag.
get
to it whenever he
you
wants.
You don't even know what a
Can I-
bag is.
let me. Obviously, we know bags handle, but let's be honest. You don't count dunks and highlights like that into high regard.
No,
Like when LeBron was yamming it, just
that's not a bag.
Edwards definitely
but
got a
still
bag.
highlight. You're a human highlight reel. That
That's
still
not a bag.
matters.
When you
He's not
think,
a North
when you
and
think
South
of bag, you
He
think
wants
of
the
I know,
point
what,
between
I know what you
Pop
mean.
backs,
Listen,
yeah.
let's
Yeah,
just
you think of-
let's expand beyond that.
You wanna
What's wrong
expand.
with just highlights? Like you
What is, what-
catch.
what is going on here?
But Edwards,
I'm just
Edwards
saying,
got
he's
the
a highlight-
cross.
he's
He
a
got the
highlight
between the
reel.
legs. He
All
got
I
the
said
step back
was
moves.
Oh wait.
He got-
Oh,
he
I
got
get
the
it. I know
sidestep
what you're
moves.
saying. You're saying he's not a bag guy. He doesn't have an extensive bag. But I said, what's wrong with him still being able to catch
He
highlights?
got the fadeaway spins in. Come
Nothing
on.
wrong. It sounds like you guys are
Edwards
trying to
got-
force me to really like
Edwards
Edwards.
got
That is what we're
bag.
doing.
Yeah, I get
Edwards
it.
got bag, bro. He got
It's a cool bag. You acting like he got an elite bag is nuts.
I never
to
said he
me.
got a lead bag.
LeBron
but
got an elite
You
bag.
acting like
No.
it's just whatever.
What do you mean, bro?
It's
I'll
dog
send you
shit.
clips.
No,
It's-
LeBron's
I'll send you
bag
clips.
is dog
You
shit.
telling me this guy doesn't
The
watch
fuck
enough
you
LeBron?
3 is the most.
The fuck you
the
three.
most
That's
That's the
deadly
wor-
shot
no,
in
that's
the
probably
game.
the worst move I've ever seen.
All
in
right,
my
you're an
life.
idiot.
I wish we had stats on what he's shooting on the fuck you three.
I
think
bet it's
they do.
50-something%.
LeBron's great. They'll find a way to get it.
Some fan pages out there. It's probably him, honestly.
If you put the
I'm
10,
actually
if you
LeBron
put
news. I'm not.
if you put the 10 greatest bag guys in a room, they'd look at LeBron's bag and laugh at it. It's dog shit.
But LeBron, he doesn't need a fucking bag. Who cares?
He doesn't need a bag. It's fucking LeBron.
Is he the best scorer ever?
6'8",
Who?
260.
LeBron.
No.
Who's better?
MJ. MJ's the best scorer.
Sorry. No,
You can have your opinion.
I do. It's LeBron.
I think it's wrong, but who am I?
The fuck you 3 percentage. Let's see.
Or Anthony Edwards hater. That's who you are.
You're gonna try to spin that to the
Why
narrative.
you respect Edwards?
Yeah.
Because this year the separation between him and Paul George,
When LeBron
It's gonna be
retires,
a
we'll get
separation.
this.
What's the separation?
a couple spots. I'll say a
spots.
tier.
When he started the fuck you three, it was only the last couple
Lakers,
of years.
man.
Yeah.
He
What's the
goes to-
percentage?
We don't
they
have
don't
it.
have it yet. I can't wait till the documentary. We did the numbers. We looked up every single highlight. He shot 45%.
So you said a couple spots?
Yeah, he'll be a tier above
tier.
Paul George after this year.
Tier above. What tier would that be? Like superstar tier? 'Cause
Superstar
that's the tier.
tiers.
Okay.
Top
Top
15?
top 15, top
Not mad at you for
top
saying
15
that.
players. Yeah,
You
think-
said top 15. I was waiting for the top 10 to come after that.
it was close. It was close. I got to give Ant some time because Ant is a great teammate. He came out and said that
He is a great
this is going to be a monster year from Cat. So I think
Live,
Ant
but
is,
I get it.
Ant is looking at Cat like, listen, Cat is getting back to his All NBA self. Edwards going to do his thing.
I'm sorry, and I wish we could show the video on YouTube. You're telling me this man doesn't have a bag? You're an idiot.
He's watching dunks.
You're an idiot. A dunks? He just dropped another man. That's 2. See you later. He's just nowhere to be found. Respect the GOAT.
What's wrong with this guy?
No
You know,
bag.
you brought
You're
up
a casual.
You had a negative comment about LeBron. You expected it to be
He did
different.
bring up
His
LeBron
game's essentially flawless.
Ooh. Flawless.
Essentially.
I said essentially. Free throw percentage could be better.
Yeah, no.
And even still,
some
he hit
constructive criticism. That's growth.
a game-winning free throw in 2016.
I
NBA
guarantee you I
Finals.
can find a 10-minute highlight reel of Andre Iguodala's back. On YouTube.
Is that moving me? No.
Just letting you know.
Because Andre Iguodala isn't dropping 27, 7, and 7 nightly.
Andre Iguodala does have like a top 10 crossover in our era, though. When he dropped Jordan Hamilton. Look it up right now.
Okay. See, I'm here for vibes. But this video is ridiculous.
It's a good video.
You just need to respect LeBron's handle. It's good. It's better than what people give him credit for.
It's all right.
Like, they talk about it like it's Giannis.
No.
That's how they talk about it.
I don't know. Giannis shit is really bad.
No, I know.
Yeah,
but that's
it's
my
hilarious.
point. They talk about it like it's Giannis.
Please
I'm
look up,
looking.
Iggy.
I'm looking at this Caleb Williams. Would you rather?
People are not happy.
It's at 74K in like an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, that's going up.
No, 3 hours. My bad. Still good though.
I'm glad that I didn't.
People
They said we were
said
glazing crazy.
You guys were.
people said this right up there is with the
You took him over Jalen
Wembanyama
Hurts.
glazing.
You took him over Trevor.
I thought they were
wanna
good
say.
names.
Took him over Tua. Couldn't be me.
I took him over too.
Oh, that's
so.
easy.
It's honest. It's only glazing until he comes in the NFL is better than all those guys.
That's a fact.
Really.
Pretty easily, by the way.
The only one I felt okay with that, even still, I'm just like, is Kyler because of the money. If the Arizona Cardinals have the opportunity to take him, they have to.
Well, obviously, when we talk about would you rather, it's if you're starting a franchise and you're taking
Yeah.
Caleb or these guys.
I would
you know,
still take
I
money
feel
aside.
I
I would
feel
still take,
comfortable with all
Caleb.
these guys. All of them definitely got question marks about their games.
Would you say it was on?
I don't think it does.
Don't worry, bro. I'm pulling up for you.
All right, I appreciate that. All right, let's move on.
Next topic is we're going to talk about the Suns and if they got better by trading DeAndre dominating.
I'm so sorry. Please, I want everybody to lock in. I want everybody. This is not just a.
Go to YouTube if you're on podcast.
Everybody.
Oh, he's not showing it to y'all because copyright. Boom, boom.
That's when Iguodala
behind the
dropped
back.
the Nuggets
Oh,
defender.
cross.
He didn't even finish? He didn't even score. He didn't even score.
Did you see the crawl?
Be honest, bro. What's better, that James
That's not-
Harden
but that's not
dropping
even prime Iggy.
Wesley Johnson or that?
James Harden.
All right, so then why you show me that?
But James Harden was better too.
That's also like
I
fucking
know.
30-something-year-old Iggy. That's not
I
even
also
prime
saw a
Iggy.
better
It's
clip
nuts.
in this
I'm
LeBron
saying.
highlight tape
No,
than
you didn't.
that. I did.
You've never seen LeBron drop somebody like that.
All right.
Copyright.
You can't play music. You're 100% right.
That's why I turned it down. You're a fucking fraud.
First time. All right, here we go. Commentate.
Dehls, you're the unbiased guy.
Tween. Oh, step back. He went flying.
Which one was better?
And he fucking nailed it.
went flying.
Respect
We
the
don't-
GOAT.
We don't care
bro,
about your man.
this guy went flying. Like, he went into the first row.
That's because LeBron's strength.
I don't know. LeBron could have pushed off.
Thank you, Dehls. Thank you, Dehls.
He went flying,
thank
though.
you,
Like, he just
Dehls,
got
which
pushed
one,
by 1,000
for bag
pounds.
purposes, which one was better?
Now,
for and
that
one.
was more tough. I'm not gonna lie, because he went.
Because he made the
he
shot.
went
Oh, man, stop
flying.
playing with the GOAT. Pop, pop, pop.
That was nice too, but that's also not prime Iggy. You get some prime Iggy highlights.
But that was my
on.
point. He's old as fuck doing that.
I know
So
that's facts.
smooth
That was
that in Memphis?
Miami, Bron.
Is that in Memphis?
That was Golden
That was
State.
Golden
State.
Warriors.
State.
That was
Golden
smooth.
State.
So smooth was
Guess-
just.
guess some Sixers
Then he
Iggy
fell
or-
and shit.
I don't even think he played a minute in
I don't know. I
Memphis.
don't think so either.
He didn't. No.
But you said old. You said
Did it.
you said old Iggy. I was just like,
I could have said Miami. Iggy.
facts. You should have.
Bro,
Old
to the finals.
Iggy's Nuggets, Philly.
Yeah. No, old as in I'm thinking old.
I'm prime.
Like
yeah,
old,
yeah,
old
like prime
age.
Iggy. That's the highlights I want
The
to see.
court was yellow.
I didn't see. I saw blue.
Yellow as shit.
That was Golden State.
Were they playing Memphis?
Denver.
Ah.
They were playing Denver.
There we go.
'Cause I thought I saw blue.
That was a
jersey.
throw busy.
Who was it on? Kenneth Farid?
Jordan Hamilton, a bum.
Jordan Hamilton. I thought it would be good.
Kenneth Farid.
Ooh, really?
Jordan
I
Hamilton
actually
was
don't
not.
remember.
He was not bad at the college.
I don't remember. I
No,
don't.
he wasn't.
What college you went to? I think you're lying.
If you're in the NBA, you're probably a good college player.
Let's see. Hold on. I'll look it up too.
Yeah, look at that. Take all the time in the world. Good, because I feel like he's lying. That was like 2013.
Yeah, nah, I was a fan of his game.
Then you're gonna dig yourself deeper into the lie.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Listen. My brain is scrambled right now.
Do
Drew,
you know where he went?
Drew.
No, that's
Drew, just tell me the first letter. I will guess the name. Tell me the first letter.
Of the university?
Yes.
Okay, I mean,
Mickey
this is
Mouse.
pretty. Yeah, it's so Mickey Mouse. It's so easy. T.
he's just gonna get it.
Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You didn't know that.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
I could have said TCU. I could have said
You
Texas
wasn't.
Tech.
Once he said it was
I
easy,
coulda-
you wasn't saying TCU. You wasn't saying Texas
To
Tech.
be honest with you, Joel, I take responsibility for it seeming as if you didn't know that because T, my immediate thought would have been Texas as well.
Oh, Tech. No, but he was good
It's
out of
everybody.
college though.
I'm not. No,
He got
I just-
drafted by the Nuggets in the teens. I remember that.
It
Or in
says the
20s.
University of Texas at Austin.
That might not be. Is that the Longhorns? It wouldn't say all
No,
that.
he played with them. Yeah.
I don't think this is.
I'm not guessing.
What pick was?
It's a fact.
What pick was he? What pick was he? He said the teens.
The 26.
You're a liar.
I said the teens 20s. That's what I
he said
said.
teams, then he said or 20s. He saved himself. He saved himself.
Nah, if
Yo.
you asked me that question, I'll say, yo, he was in the 20s for sure.
No, you said teams.
I said
Joel,
run that-
I'm
run
trying to
that back.
defend you. You
Yeah,
said
All right,
teams
bro.
at first.
Who did he get drafted? You're looking.
The Nuggets. No, I'm looking because I was gonna your question. I was gonna look it up for myself. I didn't know you said ask me that question. I didn't know that. But I could have named you stuff about him. Like if you asked me his height, I would have said he's 6'7". I would have said he's this.
I'm sure, bro. I'm sure. Now you got it in your face. I'm sure. You know.
What number did he wear?
For 6 points per game.
Number 1.
I'm looking at him on the Pelicans wearing 25.
Number 1. What number did he wear?
At Texas, he wore 3.
Oh shit.
On the Nuggets, number 1.
Okay, I got it.
There you go.
I told you I
Never
knew about Jordan Hamilton.
How many years?
Guy. He played with the Nuggets for like 5 years.
No, I meant in college.
In college?
Yeah.
Shit, bro, you got me there. I'll go 2.
Good. That's 2.
He only played 2 years in the league.
Not
He played 2 in
more.
college.
He played
Oh,
more.
apologize.
Bro, averaged
No,
19
he
in
played. He
college.
played 1, 2, 3, 6 years.
I thought it was gonna be solid. I thought it was gonna be
18
decent.
in Texas is tough.
Yeah.
Listen, his last year in the league, he averaged 11
What team?
Career high? Is
with the Pelicans.
Oh, what happened?
that career high?
I don't know, but
What,
that
how
was his
many,
last
5
year.
games?
It was career high, yeah. 11 games.
Oh.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
27.6 minutes.
11 game sample size.
I remember
They were hurt.
watching the draft,
Oh, it was probably the end of the year April runs.
and they talked
I
about
guess.
him, and they were talking about his 3-point shot and how he has a good 3-point shot.
Shot 38 in college.
Yeah.
So
So I was like, okay, this could be a good picker for the Nuggets.
you might have saved yourself from a
Thanks.
lie.
I
That looked
appreciate
crazy. You might have saved yourself.
Jordan Hamilton, you don't know who
Jordan
that
Hamilton's
is.
an insane person to lie about.
No, why would I lie about Jordan Hamilton?
It's just the
I
way
know,
you were
I know.
spinning it. It didn't look like.
And
it was
I was also a big time Malik Beasley fan.
well, that's I
I
know.
love Malik Beasley.
Well, that's an easy college.
Florida
Don't even ask
State.
him. Yeah, don't even ask him.
Come on,
I
He
would
played with
do
Dwayne
that.
Bacon. You didn't know that.
I didn't
I knew
care
that.
about that.
You didn't know.
Yeah, I
You just
didn't
admit
care.
You didn't know.
You could have told me that shit. I
They had a
Yeah,
good
right,
class.
man.
I think T-Man. I don't know if T-Man was there.
What you know about the day in the life with Dwayne Bacon and Corey Sanders, man?
Come on, stop, bro.
Come on, I watched it.
I watched it
I
too,
know.
man.
I
I
know
was
what you're
there.
talking. I know what you're talking about.
This was great, man. Funny content, man.
Missed
Get
those
back to
times,
that.
man.
Yeah, that was the better content.
That was great content.
Did the Suns get better by trading DeAndre Ayton, or should they have kept him? Now, Drew, I'll start off with you.
Now let's actually start with you.
You want to know my opinion
You
on DeAndre?
kind of been very
I
adamant
mean,
on this.
Mr. Dominating. Listen,
Christ.
Are you gonna say a moment of silence for Jess?
Jess is heartbroken.
That shit killed me. Seeing you respond, "I'm sorry, babe." Heartbreak emoji. I was cracking up.
Jess is sad that they don't have DeAndre in because, she wanted him to succeed. He was drafted with the first pick.
I get it. It's how I feel about Marcus Smart.
And she still thinks he has a lot of untapped potential. It was Monty Williams' fault. And I agree with her to a degree. But the reason why I think the Suns got better by trading Ayton is less about Nurkic and more so about the flexibility they got by trading Ayton. I'll get into the Nurkic thing in a bit, but the Suns split Ayton's deal into 3 smaller contracts. Nurkic, Grayson Allen, and Nasir Little, who just got a 4-year, $30 million extension with the Blazers. Before this trade, the Suns had max contract, minimums.
Yep.
They had no flexibility to explore the trade market unless they packaged one of their stars or DeAndre Ayton. By trading DeAndre Ayton, well, now Nurkic becomes movable. Grayson Allen does too, and Nasir Little does too. So those are 3 players you can package in with a plethora of second-round picks they have to go get players or to at least explore the trade market. So I think this trade was great for the flexibility it gave Phoenix. I think they'll be very active in the trade market around the midseason. We'll see how this team shapes out, how healthy this team is, if they can rely on certain players or not. On to Nurkic. This past season, the Blazers' defensive rating without Nurkic was 124.3. Their defensive rating with Nurkic was 117.1. So with Nurkic, not a good defense anyway, but you can also say the personnel around him is not very good. 7.2 points better on defense when Nurkic was on the court for them. DeAndre in this past playoffs was a minus 59 versus the Nuggets. He was a minus 17 in the 2 combined wins that the Suns did win against Denver. Nurkic broke his leg in 2019, and it zapped a lot of the athleticism he did have. But what I do think he does have still is he's a smart defender who positions himself well, and he's one of the better rebounders in the league. He averaged 9 rebounds, only playing 26 minutes per game. He's a better offensive and defensive rebounder than Ayton. Nurkic defense before Chauncey Billups arrived in Portland. So the year after Nurkic broke his leg in 2020, 2021, Nurkic had a 108.2 defensive rating. The average was 111. He was 81st percentile league-wide. And after Billups, in 2021-2022, his defense rating was 110.1, so it got worse by 2 points. He was 55th percentile. And this past season, he had a 113.8 defensive rating, 37th percentile. You can blame this on Nurkic, but I think it's more so the scheme, because Chauncey Billups' scheme in Portland was he made centers play high up on the screen. It wasn't drop coverage. Nurkic had to play up on screens, and he's slow-footed, so on the perimeter, he's not going to keep up, where I think in Phoenix is going to be more of a drop coverage scheme. The five-man lineup of Dame, CJ, Powell, Covington, and Nurkic had a defense rating of 104.8, 73rd percentile in the 2020-2021 season. That same lineup the year after with Billups had a defense rating of 111.2, and it got significantly worse with the same five-man lineup. He's not the same athlete he once was, but he still positions himself well. He stops drives and bothers offensive players. We all know he's not a top 10, top 15 center in the league. When I look at Nurkic, the tier of center that I compare him to is Ivica Zubac, Valanciunas, Jakob Poeltl, Steven Adams, around there.
I think those are all guys, though, I would rather over him.
I would rather Jakob.
I would rather Jakob. I think Zubac is definitely a toss-up. I wouldn't just say Zubac.
Zubac's a good rim protector.
And
It really is.
And Valanciunas, while
Great
Valanciunas is a really good offensive player, I don't know if I take Valanciunas over Nurkic, because Valanciunas defensively really cannot play.
I won't disagree with that point at all.
But I look at all these centers, and I think they're in similar tiers, regardless of how you rank them.
Yep.
I think Nurkic is in a similar tier with these guys. And I'm looking at the Suns lineup. Beal, Booker, Okogie, I think starts for defensive purposes. KD, Nurkic. Then off the bench, Eric Gordon, Grayson Allen. I think those are your two pieces off the bench. You need a big man, because Nurkic cannot play 30 minutes. I think he'll play around 25 a game. That's where Drew Eubanks come in, which ironically backed Nurkic up in Portland. And then it's Keita Bates-Diop, Yuta Watanabe. Those are the other guys that I think be here. And then your deep rotation is Damian Lee, Metu, Goodwin, Bol. I don't think these guys really play that much. I think the Suns improved their depth. They were able to replace Ayton with at least a serviceable big man. And I don't think they're done. I still think they're going to make moves. They're going to explore the trade market. We'll see what they do later on. I didn't even mention Nasir Little here, who I think could also play a lot of minutes for the Suns.
You'll have to.
I think, I'm a big fan of Nasir Little. I really do. In the draft, he was supposed to be a lottery pick. He fell in the draft because he had a bad year at North Carolina his freshman season. But Nasir Little has a lot of potential in Portland. He was growing under Billups. He can play defense. He can shoot the ball at a 36% clip. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being the starting three for this team. But between Okogie and Nasir,
it's not a hard battle.
But between Okogie and him, I kind of would rather Nasir Little just for what he gives me, the consistency on a night-to-night basis. I think the Suns got better. I think they were championship contenders before this trade, and I still think they're championship contenders with it. The major hiccup with them is just health. Can they stay healthy? Because KD played 50 games. Beal just played 50 games. Nurkic just played 50 games. Booker's the most healthy guy, and he's dealing with some hamstring issues. That's the major issue, but I think the Suns got better. They got better depth, and they're going to be a top contender in the West this year.
Let me ask you a question. I pose this to the three of you guys. Do you trust this team defensively?
That's what I'm looking at, the rim protection.
My only question is when he said Nurkic is going to be more drop, that doesn't bode well, because you don't have guys that are good screen navigators or guys that fight over screens. Like, you have maybe two consistently good perimeter defenders. You're not going to ask Devin Booker and Beal to be consistently good defenders on a night-to-night basis. So it's not Nasir Little.
Devin's not a cone.
No, I'm
That's
saying,
why, yeah, I'm with you.
Like, Nasir Little and Okogie are probably going to take the best assignments. And then if Nurkic is going to play drop, like, they have the Warriors are open at night. Drop coverage against the Warriors is probably the worst scheme ever. So I don't know how long Nurkic is going to be out there for, because defensively he's not a great rim protector, and he's always banged up, and he's slow-footed like you mentioned. So it's a good move because of cap flexibility. And DeAndre Ayton didn't want to be there. So you wanted to get a headache
get
off
rid
your
of-
team.
Well
Yeah,
said,
you wanted
Rev.
to get a headache off your team. Nurkic, like you mentioned, he's still an okay center. He's not ass. So you bring in somebody who can be a good center, who can provide you some things on offense, a great screener. You know, he's a solid playmaker at the top of the key at the mid-range area. You know,
He can shoot.
He can give. He's been stretching at the 3-point line, so he's gonna have a couple open looks when you run the pick and roll with him and Book, him and KD. He's gonna get looks, so he's gonna be open. You know, so offensively he provides a little more. Defensively, I think this team is just gonna always be not a good defense, but they're always gonna have defensive issues. They just don't have the personnel. And
They're
that's
going to win
fine.
with offense.
They're gonna have to, and that's fine. They have enough offensive firepower to be the best
Most
offense in the
definitely.
league.
This
So-
isn't a bad defense, though.
I don't know if it's good.
I don't
think-
love
I
it on
think-
paper.
I think Kevin Durant is one of the better weak side rim protectors
But
in the
at
league.
this point,
It's about them elevating the playoffs defensively.
KD was just great on defense this past year.
Because we saw Denver in the regular season, middle of the pack defensively, right? Like 13th, 15th, whatever they were. And then the playoffs, they stepped up. I think they were
I don't
fourth
think anyone was
in-
expecting MPJ to lock up the way that he did as well.
No,
And
but-
also, no disrespect to Denver, they didn't play a high level offense either, at all. Minnesota wasn't. Respect to your Lakers,
I'm
but
not
y'all not a high
disagreeing.
level. Only thing was, and the Suns have Devin Booker and KD, but outside of that, they're not like a high level schematic offensive team.
But that's what kind of gives me faith in the Suns is that
Well, they faced the Suns.
they did face the Suns, but
I'm saying outside
he's
of
saying they
Devin
just have
Booker,
two players,
Yeah, they just have two scorers.
which is true. But now that's not the case. Now you added Beal. Who,
Oh, yeah.
Just the
Offensively,
presence of Beal is going to take off so much off the shoulders of Booker and KD to now in a playoff setting. I think Beal, Booker, and Kevin Durant can all lock in defensively, given that they're not going to have so much weight on their shoulders offensively. Nasir Little, I think, is a good defender.
That's a tough ask.
You're asking them to lock in defensively on who? Like you're gonna ask them. One of them are gonna have to guard a star on another team.
If it's one of them, I think the person that will do it is
Book.
Booker.
I thought so.
I think
I
think
can't-
Booker will take that challenge 100%.
Jamal,
Do you
just
trust
fried
Booker?
up two
Do you
against
trust
them.
Booker in a playoff setting, night to night, to guard the best player and provide that offensive output?
You know that. Like, we can just be honest. The
Me
answer is
personally, I do. I trust Booker.
He had moments
I
last
trust
year.
Booker.
But it's hard to trust him for an entire playoff series. There's going to be moments he gets cooked, but you're expecting the offense to be able to
Because
outscore
this
guys.
team is like,
It's built on offense.
Yeah, for sure.
the reason why, and this is the reason why it has to be Booker, is because between him and Beal, he just has more size. He's just the one that is capable of guarding bigger
More
positions.
athletic.
Yeah, and he's more athletic.
I think
Beal is
Booker's more
fake.
athletic than
And
Beal.
Beal is really athletic, though.
Yeah.
Beal is
Like,
fake.
I think
Yeah.
Booker can take that responsibility, and you can still ask Bradley Beal to get you 26 a night.
To
You know-
be honest with you, of course, we're going off raw numbers here, but just off memory. Jamal Murray had one bad game
Not even
against
just
the
Jamal.
Nuggets.
Dudes in that
Against the
Clippers
I don't
Suns.
even
series?
think Booker was guarding
That's
him.
what I'm
but
saying.
dudes in
Yeah.
the Clippers series was taking advantage
They were.
of Devin Booker.
They were.
And those aren't the stars. Those were Norman Powell.
I think he was top 5 though in defensive field goal percentage
I don't remember.
for the guard position.
Regardless, Jamal in that series, 34, had that 10. Game 2, he struggled terribly. That was his worst game of the playoffs, 3 for 15. Comes back with a 32 on 45% from the field, 28 on 52% from the field, 19 on 47%. It was a blowout. They won by 16. And then the closeout was a blowout as well, but that was when Devin Booker was injured, 26 on 44%. I mean, I find it hard to feel confident that Devin Booker can come in. And I'm only talking about the Nuggets because that is who they did lose to. That is who we all here regard as the favorite in
They
the
won a
West.
championship.
We have to
100%.
pay them that respect. And Jamal Murray was just the second best player on a championship team. And at levels in games, in certain games of that stretch, he was the best player on the court. So we have to understand that it's not just Jokic, which we all know. Can Devin Booker, can that unit of the Suns defend at a high level on arguably the best offense in basketball in the Denver Nuggets? I don't know if I feel confident in that.
I don't want to get too tied up in the defensive argument,
But
because
that's my
No, I understand.
Correct.
the reason why I don't want to get too caught up in that is because I think with Frank Vogel, their defense will be just good enough. Frank Vogel he's one
He's
of
a
the
great
better
defensive
He's one of the
coach.
better defensive coach, and I trust him to figure out something. But ultimately,
You need the personnel
the
ultimately
Suns built this team
for offense.
for offense.
I'm not going to disagree.
This team is built to outscore teams. So when it comes to the Nuggets and Suns, you were able to win 2 games off the backs of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Devin Booker didn't start struggling until his ankle got messed up.
Correct.
He could have still been going on a tear. This series could have went to 7 maybe if Devin Booker's ankle doesn't get messed up.
I don't know. Those last 2 games were ugly.
Yeah, because Devin Booker got his ankle messed up.
But
and
even in those 2 games
nothing.
that they won by single digits.
I know what you're saying, but Devin Booker not stressing your defense out and you only having one player offensively.
And I'm sorry, I mentioned single digits because their losses were all by double digits.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Now that you add Beal, that's a 25-plus point per game scorer. They have more offensive firepower, and even Nurkic is not a slouch offensively. He, with the attention on everybody else, he can at least do something. And DeAndre Ayton could too, but he would just complain about not getting the ball and not buying in, and it would just fuck up the entire chemistry of the team. So this is just an offensive team. Even with the question marks about defense, I don't look at Beal, Booker, Kevin Durant, or a Kogi or Nasir Little. I'm going to just go Nasir because I really trust that Nasir will start and he will play a lot of minutes for this team.
That'll have to be the lineup.
Yeah, I don't.
Kevin Durant is playing the 5.
All those 4 guys, I don't think they're slouches defensively.
Nurkic.
No, I'm saying that's going to be their – at some point, there's going to be Beal, Booker, Okogie, Little, KD in the playoffs. That's going to be a lineup.
I think in the lineup in the playoffs, if they go small with KD at center, I think it's Beal, Booker. I think Yuta will be out there, Grayson Allen, and then KD.
KD is still at the 5.
I'm saying if they go small, but they cannot go small. Ultimately, in the playoffs, you're going to have shooting. So I think Grayson's going to have a role.
Kills.
Yuta's going to have a role.
Yes.
Jokic goes crazy.
AD's going to go crazy.
Because that's ultimately why when you have conversations about the Phoenix Suns, and it's not like I'm trying to sound like a hater, this is an extremely talented team. They are a contender. You have to respect them because they have one of the best offensive units in the game. It's just you have to compare them to the other contenders. That's just the standard. And in that matchup, in that scenario that you're telling me, Jokic is going to be the best player on the court.
They just don't have multiple ways they can beat you.
Let me ask y'all a
you're
question.
talking about?
It's all offense. It's all shooting because I have a hard time believing if we think this is a team that could compete for the finals, win a finals, you're asking a lot on shooting and variance and just being able to go series to series to series where you're shooting and you can't have a messed up ankle. You can't have one guy having a couple off nights because if I'm kind of over at least the Suns, their depth issue. I think they did a nice job when they brought in Eric Gordon,
Grayson
Little. Grayson Allen's, I've seen him.
He's a good role player.
He's a
Very
fine
good
player.
role player.
So I'm kind of over
They have a
their
good
depth
9.
issue.
Before 9 was nuts. This is a
Grayson
good 9.
Allen is a definition
Y'all
of
ain't
fine
trust
ball player.
Kata, man.
We did it, and now you know
but
he's not playing.
Now I think their depth is fine.
The Suns didn't trust Kata.
Low key.
No, the Suns just got a good deal.
Nah, they got
He'll still
decent
play.
depth,
Kata's
but
probably gonna play.
I think there's still real questions about their defense, especially at the rim, and just the philosophy. It's kind of, I know you bring in Frank Vogel because you want to have a defensive mind, but it's kind of an odd pairing with this team that is so offensively focused. So I could be talked into, hey, we're all offensively focused. Let's bring a defensive head coach that could, maybe outsmart the opponent and make up for where we lack. But I go see the other side where if we have all of this offense, why don't we just want to maximize it and bring an offensive coach? Of course, that's hindsight. That's 2020 at this point. Because in a vacuum, Ayton, of course, is the better player, but if he's going to just take away the headaches and the chemistry, whatever else might come down the road, I understand the Nurkic deal, but you are getting a worse player out of the two, right? And a lot of times when you do get the worst player, we're not really looking at that like, you know what? That's a great deal. It's just the fact that they have so much like an excess of talent, some of the best players in the world. So we kind of just, overlook it and be like, you know what? They'll just figure it out. But like you said, Riv, if you only have one way to beat an opponent in the playoffs, it's hard to do that for 5, 6, 7 game series after series, especially when 2 of the best bigs in the NBA are in the West with AD and Jokic.
I love Frank. I really do love Frank Vogel as a coach. He, like Jrue mentioned it, he doesn't really have the personnel per se, especially for his defense. He likes a guy that can protect the rim. He had Hibbert, he had AD. He's had guys that can do that. So I'm interested to see. I'm not going to sit here and say they can't get better. I just think as of right now, they're not a good defense. But I am very interested to see how
so you
Vogel.
think they're ass on defense?
God damn it!
No, I'm just asking.
They're not terrible.
I said they're not good. I don't think they're a good. Like if I had to,
like if you were to just
throw a
project
number, 21,
where
right
they
now.
would rank, you think so?
No, look, I said as of today, I said they're like 21. But I can see a world.
What did they finish? I know the year ends ranking was great, but that also could be skewed.
They were all banged up,
McHale,
and there was so much. Yeah, I don't know. I think Vogel, if he can get these guys to buy in though, because he has that type of ability, then they can jump. As long as they're like a top 15 defense, though.
I think they will be.
Yeah, I think they're fine. Yeah. No, as long as they're a top 15 defense, they're fine. And as long as in the playoffs they lock in defensively,
That's what matters the most.
You need multiple ways to beat other teams. Like you can't just go ISO. You need other ways. So it's like to see how Phoenix is going to move because Frank Vogel is not the greatest mind on offense, but you have Beal, you have Devin Booker. Devin Booker's probably going to primarily 1-to-1. They have Beal at the 1, but I think Booker's their best playmaker.
It's going to be a ton of isolation.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes, but they definitely fixed the depth issues. Like, I'm sorry, that Metu, Keita Bates off the bench shit wasn't moving me. Even Eric Gordon, I watched him. He takes crazy shots. But now
he's always done that.
Yeah, he's nuts. But now you have Grayson Allen, you have Eric Gordon, you have Okogie, you have Keita Bates, you have Nurkic. That's your next guys. And Nasir Little. That's a solid guy. Like them other guys, Damian Lee and Metu, you don't want them in the game for extended minutes. So they fixed the depth issues. They fixed the salary cap thing issue because I know DeAndre was a big ass contract. You bring in Nurkic. Grayson's on a 1, not a 1+. This is like his final year of his deal, so that's also good. And Nasir's not getting paid too much. He's like at $6-7 mil for 2-3
4 years to 30.
Yeah,
mil.
it's nothing crazy. So that's a good deal for him.
Moves.
Yeah, they still have opportunity to make
moves. Like you
moves.
said in your opening monologue, the fact that they're able to get contracts that aren't maxes and aren't minimums, I'm sure at the trade deadline the Suns are going to be in conversations to get a rim protector or a perimeter
The only
defender.
thing with them is they're not going to be able to add too many picks to anything. So
yeah, they're cooked picks.
They have a lot of second-round picks.
They
have a lot of
They did add a lot. They did add a lot.
So, but I think we just got to see them play, man. See how they looking.
So I did find the defensive rating before and after. Before the trade, 56 games, 112 defensive rating. After the trade, 112 defensive rating as well. So pretty interesting. But Kevin Durant did only play a limited amount of those games as well.
And I think he helps a defense.
He should. But in the playoffs, in terms of point total, 115, 109, 124, 100. Had some great moments where also on the opposite, the defense wasn't great. 130 as well.
I believe that the defense will be solid. I know this isn't a high bar to reach, but between the Suns' big three of Beal, KD, and Booker, and the Nets of Kyrie, KD, and Harden, which one was more worrisome defensively? I think the Brooklyn one was.
Because of Harden.
Yeah.
And because of Kyrie. I think Beal and
Booker
yes.
are
better
Kyrie,
defenders.
when he locks in.
Kyrie's not a bad defender.
When he locks in, I think
Beal was
when
a good defender, though.
Yeah, Beal, when he didn't have this
when he was
responsibility.
Wall, he was a very good
Kyrie's
defender.
also just smaller than the three they have in.
Yeah.
And Harden stinks, so yeah.
That's why, for me, I think that this defense will be solid. And the one hiccup with them is they need another backup big. Drew Eubanks is like a hustle player. But they definitely, I don't think he's gonna play.
Sleeper of the season, bro.
you need a guy at the
They need
rim.
a backup big. They need if
Phoenix
they
has
could
6 second-round picks.
6 second-round
Six
picks.
second-round picks.
Them shit's gone.
If they can trade for someone like Larry Nance, I think now we're talking.
I don't think.
I was gonna say I don't know if Pels would trade
he's
him.
better than Valve in some of their lineups for them. Like he offers that defense. I don't know. Like they need somebody at the rim. Like Kevin Durant's a good help side defender, but you need somebody. You need somebody to put fear into offensive players when they come to the rim. Like fear factors are very, very important.
They're about to bring in DeAndre Jordan, bro.
Dwight.
Hey, listen, I need him.
Yeah, I was gonna say you better not say that too loud, Celtics, man.
But the Nuggets don't have that.
I don't think so.
Nah. But the Nuggets have a
bigs, honestly.
like a historical offense.
They do.
They have like
the Suns could maybe get to that offensive rating and output.
When has isolation offense ever got so historical? Never.
The Nets.
Say that one more time.
They played like 14 games.
They were having.
Don't give me their own pace shit. They
no, you don't think they were gonna do it though? Like they were.
I'm not about to say
they obviously were.
Enough.
Like you know what I'm saying?
Not to say
What's the
historic.
I
question?
said, when does historical offense ever have just isolation?
The Rockets with Harden.
Was that just isolation?
Yes,
that was a
sure.
lot of isolation.
And they didn't win, right?
Isolation.
No.
They went to the conference finals twice.
Let me ask
No,
you.
they went once.
No, they went twice with Harden. The era with Harden.
Ah, you're just speaking.
Yeah.
That wasn't the same offense though.
Let me ask you.
That was
It was a
Kevin
little
McHale and
different.
Mike
You're
D'Antoni.
right.
Yeah.
Cavaliers were playing a lot of isolation in 2016. Not that it was a historic,
It wasn't a historic
output,
offense.
but it was a historic comeback, and it was done
Fuck?
by.
What are we moving the goalposts?
You told me historic, so I just
Do
had
they
to.
have prime
In the
LeBron?
playoffs, bucket getters are
and
what
prime
wins.
Kyrie, some might say.
Yeah, but
Yeah, bucket getters for sure.
Like the Hawks had a great offense in the regular season with those 5 All-Stars, but in the playoffs, you see you can't.
They went to the ECF.
Bro, don't
Yeah,
you
but
remember
you
when
don't have
LeBron
nobody that could get
and
buckets.
Kyrie straight isolation, 40 each, you know?
It was cool.
That was pretty historic. That was a historic night.
You go back and watch that game?
No, I haven't watched
it's
2016 at
It's
all.
the only duo to score 40 each in a finals.
Hey, just wait for Boston.
That's historic.
It was cool.
So now there we go. Not moving no goalposts. It happened.
Kyrie has not done anything since.
That's okay.
He's LeBron.
He's
fine.
in my heart forever.
Really?
Absolutely.
Mid.
Even though he broke my heart, I still cherish his memories.
And when you said,
Nice.
how many different ways can the Suns beat you offensively? While it may just strictly be isolation, right? I think there will be a lot of pick and roll with KD and Booker, Beal and Booker. Like, they can put them in a lot of actions. And even if it's just isolation, Beal, Booker, and KD are all
Kevin
capable.
Durant is not a good passer.
I know, but this is what I'm saying.
It's not a bad
I'm
passer.
talking about off of pops.
KD is
Screening
not
off
a
of
bad
pops.
passer. You got to stop with that. He's not this elite level passer. He's not a bad passer.
But what I'm saying is that
Booker and Beal are good passers.
Beal, Booker, and KD, even though it might just be isolation, they can all beat you. Like, any given night, they can explode, and they can be a reason for
Oh
a
yeah,
victory.
of course, yeah, for sure.
So
It's
they
just
have three
like,
reasons why they could win any
Like you're
game.
going up against the Lakers, high power defense, offense. They have so many mismatches they can exploit with this team. Then Denver, so many mismatches they can exploit with this team, high powered offense. Like, and then the teams that you're gonna have to get to them. You're gonna have to beat a couple teams. Those are gonna bang you up. Like the Clippers are still gonna give you matchup problems. It's gonna be tough for the Suns. So
The Clippers, I think the only way they give real matchup problems is if they get Jrue. Because now you have three that can match up with their three defenses.
Let's not talk about that.
I don't think so.
Because who else outside of
You'd rather
Kawhi and
play
Paul
the
George
Clippers
you
or
trust
Nuggets in the playoffs?
to guard that third star in Phoenix?
I don't think Beal is the. Let me. How I say this?
I think if Beal gets a matchup,
I think it's
because
because we need to
30.
see Beal back in a situation.
Yeah, I don't
want to.
No, I just don't want to say this
basketball.
without being too disrespectful.
I feel like that's my point. We're not gonna praise or we're not gonna feel confident in Beal because we haven't seen him play meaningful basketball in a long.
The pressure's still on Book and KD though. He could.
I know,
But I don't
I
think
know
that
it was
takes away from him as a player.
No, you shouldn't. But I
Yeah.
feel like some people may allow that to cloud their judgment.
Because with the Nuggets, we know that Aaron Gordon, KCP, KD, Booker, Beal's that guy that's going to get the matchup on Jamal Murray or someone else. And, yeah, I think Beal will take advantage of that matchup. I think Beal will
Westbrook
will
or
average 25.
whoever it is.
Yeah,
Terrence
like
Mann.
I think that third
I'm
guy.
gonna be honest, bro. Like I know there was
is the
one
one.
game, but Kawhi outscored 4 of them.
That's it.
Well, Kawhi is amazing in the
And then
playoffs.
Powell had 41 points
He
on
did.
that team, bro. It's like, and then Westbrook was doing shit. Like it was just like,
hate
dog,
them.
I don't know, bro.
I hate
Like that team just.
They're
like,
good.
They just
They're
push it out their
good.
ass and figure it out. So
Scrappy.
Just
yeah.
good when
the
things don't matter.
Clippers
that
are my
much.
kryptonite.
And then Ty Lue, you trust him to make adjustments. So, but if they get Jrue, you're fucked, buddy. I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah, Jrue. I mean, he's
No, if
the
they
one
get Jrue,
that.
Beal is fucked.
Let's talk about Jrue. What would that look like if he went to
Jrue
LA?
Holiday trade machine. Now, Jrue cooked up like 7 trades
I
here.
chefed as much as I could, and I tweeted this. A lot of them are not good. But we're here. We have to do this, and that's just how it is. NBA Trade Machine, shout out to ESPN. They're amazing for giving us this tool. But they don't allow draft picks to be exchanged.
All of
just
these 2 firsts.
expect there to be first incorporated with this
2027.
deal. All right, so the first team
Not
that we're
doing
going to talk about. Say that one more time?
He's doing the Boston thing again.
Understand. So the first team that we're going to talk about is the Philadelphia 76ers. So the 76ers get Jrue Holiday. The Portland Trailblazers, to make the money work, have to give up Tobias Harris, assuming that
That is beautiful.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be upset.
if you're the Sixers, you're
I think
lit.
the Sixers fans will throw fucking.
How many
parade.
years
But if
does
you're the
Tobias
Blazers,
have?
do you accept this?
How many years does Tobias have left?
1
Oh,
year.
this is
He's
last
on
year.
expiring.
yeah.
So
Fine.
Tobias 2
Fine.
picks, and that's it. I'm good. I accept it in a heartbeat.
Okay. So, all right. So
You're
this is a
saying
great
if
trade.
both
So
for
I'm
sides-
Philly.
Portland. I accept it in a heart. If you call me, oh, what up, Portland? What up? What's good? And I got Jrue. Give me Jrue. I'll give you Tobias and 2 firsts. Yeah, that's it. Put it in. We're gone. Bye.
Are you in on this?
And then I'll buy Tobias out or some shit, or just let him sit.
Is Harden on the team still?
Harden is still a 76er.
I like that.
That's why I'm not in on it. Because Harden, Maxey, Jrue.
But now we don't have. Maybe we don't see point Harden where you can see
you
him.
have to, or he's useless.
Really?
I don't know if playing him off ball is gonna,
No, of course.
He needs to be the guard. the
All
point
right.
guard.
Understand where you're coming from.
Jrue can play the 3 though.
So you're out on this deal if Harden's on the team.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's gone regardless. So I like Jrue as the replacement for James Harden.
I like Jrue as a replacement for Harden, too.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Next trade is going to be the one that I want the least. It's going to
Shocker.
be Jrue Holiday to the Clippers.
Team you haven't beaten in years.
They're easily my least favorite team, and we just got swept by the Nuggets. It really holds weight. I hate them. Jrue Holiday goes to the Clippers. In return, the Blazers get Norman Powell, Marcus Morris, and Bones Highland.
The thing is, Powell's locked up for a couple years.
3 years, $18 million a year.
there?
That's a good
He come
contract.
off the bench though.
But this is a good contract.
Yeah.
If you're the Blazers,
And
you're not
Marcus'
paying him too
contract
much.
is up this year, so you can even
Yep.
buy him out.
Yeah.
He's on an expiring.
Portland, you get Bones. You got a lot of guards, but you could probably.
I don't like Bones in that deal.
Yeah.
This is
I would
just to
tell
make the
him-
money work.
Yeah.
I would tell him, give me somebody else, maybe Brandon Boston, maybe
Yeah.
Amir Coffey.
That's the guy I would go with.
Yeah,
Boston.
one of those guys.
Terrence Mann untouchable in this
They
trade.
make him untouchable.
Untouchable.
Yes.
That's what I figured. Okay. So this one, you like the Philly deal better as of right now.
If I'm Portland, I would probably prefer to send him out to the East.
Agreed.
Me too. But I would prefer if you took Bones out, put like one of those wings in. I'd prefer the Clippers deal.
Okay. Next deal is going to be to the Brooklyn Nets.
This
The
is
Brooklyn Nets.
This is the sneaker.
This is the low key one, just a team that we're not expecting, just for conversation purposes. The Nets get Jrue Holiday. The Portland Trailblazers would get Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith in this deal. Now I know that there's been conversations
Pre-show.
of Nets fans, well, not just the pre-show, but on Twitter as well, saying that fans would they do Ben Simmons in 2 first for Jrue Holiday. Let's go over this one and then we'll go over the Ben Simmons one. But Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, probably a pick or two for Jrue Holiday.
I
Would
would
you do
love to keep Dorian if I can.
Okay, I get that.
I would love to. You know, defense. He's one of the legit 3-and-D players in the league.
The contracts work. I think then Portland finds a way to move Dinwiddie.
He's on a 1 year.
Yeah, but I don't think they'd want to keep Dinwiddie around, given that they have just a lot of
I
players.
think they
that
keep
want the ball.
Dorian around. He seems like they're
Dorian is somebody that they need because they need a wing on
And
that
he's
team
on a
right
solid
now.
contract, 3
13
years,
mil,
13,
right? Yep.
14. It's 13.9.
It's good for the Nets, but I still feel like they would need more offense.
I don't
With
disagree.
McHale,
Drew would
Cam
be
Johnson,
wasting a
like-
year unless he wants to win.
Yeah, Drew's not winning a championship with that team.
I mean, but does he really have say?
Nah,
No, he doesn't at all.
but I don't
He
think
doesn't.
Brooklyn would jump into that.
But I
deal.
don't think Brooklyn trades a first-round pick for Jrue Holiday on a
rental.
one-year
Yeah, I don't know if
deal.
that's their timeline.
He has 2 years on his
it's
contract.
a 1+1
It's a 1-1.
Apologize, got it.
Yeah. Player
Our-
option, right?
player. Yeah,
So
I
the
mean,
next
he'll take the money probably.
the next one will be
Decline and get a 2-3 year.
the next trade is going to be a consolation prize for this team. It's going to be the Miami Heat. They would be getting Jrue Holiday. The Blazers would be giving away. I don't love this at all. Kyle Lowry, Jaime Jaquez, and Josh Richardson.
I try to keep Jaime if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many,
To make the money work, I had to include him.
You
I know.
basically get an extra first-round pick. You're getting the 2 first. We're assuming all these
Getting a
deals have
young
2
rookie in
first plus
Portland.
the first they just selected at 20 overall, 19 overall.
Portland, I like that. You know, you get a pick, you get a young player.
Yeah.
You know, Kyle Lowry, you can once again buy him out. Jaime, he's a 3, so you need
you don't
some
need.
of
It's
that.
not a wing. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not a guard.
Yeah, that's a good deal for Portland.
I like that for Portland.
I only say this because you're getting Kyle Lowry. You mentioned it. He is on an expiring. The
You
hope
don't have to play him.
You think there's any?
That's true.
You think that relationship they could still? Because the report is that like Portland and Miami, they just stopped talking. Like after a while, Portland was like, "We're just done
If
with
they
this
give him a good deal, Cronin,
You got to
shit,
answer the
he
phone.
has to answer the phone. I
Can't
don't think he
that
could be
petty.
stubborn in that.
Yeah.
He got to answer the phone.
I mean, and if the Heat include multiple firsts or
Miami's desperate right now.
I don't
Yeah.
disagree at all.
No Warriors. We've been in the
should-
talk.
you know what? Let me cook up one for the Warriors.
Very
while
easy. Chris Paul, Moody, 2 first-round picks were here.
How many more do you have?
I have
that
this
one?
last
You
one
think-
with the.
trading Chris Paul would be hilarious.
Listen,
After
Chris
all
Paul,
of this
listen,
shit that's
Drew's
going on
on
this
the table.
offseason.
He can fucking
Yeah.
go.
So Jrue comes off the bench?
Drew can start at
But
this
they've been-
point. I
the
would rather
Warriors-
Drew start
the
than Chris Paul.
organization's just been
No, I'm
hyping
talking
up Chris
about-
Paul so much.
Because what's the starting lineup?
Steph.
Clay,
Well, if
Drew.
they want, because they wanted to start Chris Paul. So if you want to start Chris Paul, I don't see how you wouldn't want to
Definitely
start Drew.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I agree.
So Steph, Drew,
So
Clay,
Kayvon Looney
Wiggins,
comes off the bench.
Sally, Loon Toon comes off the bench. I'm fine with Drew starting
And
at
for,
least.
and for matchups in the playoffs, you could play
And
with that.
defensively,
Just for
he's more.
conversation purposes, if they want to start Looney and Draymond, would you start Jrue over Clay?
Oh fuck no.
All right,
Oh,
I
thought
got.
you were gonna say, yeah.
No, it wouldn't hit me. Yeah, you asked me that because I hate Clay. I get that, but at the same time, you just need you need Clay and Steph. You can't. They got to play together.
I have a feeling you're gonna hate the trade that I cooked up for the Warriors.
You put Kuminga in it.
The Warriors get Jrue Holiday. The Blazers get Chris Paul and Jonathan Kuminga.
If you get Kuminga and picks, that's a great day
They
for
stole.
Portland. They
We're
stole.
stealing too.
I don't think they're doing that though.
That's
I
a
don't-
come up for y'all.
It is, but like
they
we don't
were
have
so
we need
untradeable.
athleticism.
Yeah,
We don't-
Kuminga's
how
been
much
so
per-
untradeable for y'all, man. I
How
don't
much
think you give him
perimeter
up for Jrue
defense do you
Holiday.
really
Kuminga
have?
was a top 10 perimeter defender this year.
I get it, but how many minutes was he getting, bro?
Yeah, but with him, Jrue is better.
No, I'm saying we can give him Moody. We don't want the guy to give up. You know what I'm So we good.
Moody,
I
ain't
think
showing
Moody,
shit.
yeah.
Moody played more than Kuminga in the
He
playoffs.
did play more against us.
I mean, if we
easily.
gotta
He
give
ain't
up,
do
listen. Yeah, no, I'm with you. They would put him on LeBron. Fuck you want him to do? Idiots. But
Would you do this deal? Yes or no?
if I love Steph and I love Kuminga, but I want to win again, yes, I'm doing the deal.
Finally, you're willing to give a Kuminga for
Jrue puts
Holiday.
us, in my opinion, he puts us like we're
Right
close.
up there with
yeah, we're
Denver and-
close.
okay.
We're right there. Like Jrue gets us there.
All right, and the last trade I have is to Joel's Boston Celtics.
Boston. How much do they need?
Boston gets Jrue
How much
Holiday.
help Tatum needs?
To be honest with you, they're kind of giving up a decent package though. Boston gets
I
Jrue
got another
Holiday.
package for him.
Blazers.
Nuts.
I literally have another trade package for him.
Oh my goodness gracious!
He just showed us a picture of his penis.
I'm on The Athletic.
You can easily swipe, buddy.
Oh shit! So Boston gets Jrue Holiday. The Blazers would get Malcolm Brogdon, Al Horford, and just to make the contracts work, Sam Hauser.
Yeah.
I think no, because I don't think Portland wants to bring in another guard.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think what Brogdon's on a 2-year. He has 2 years left. Yeah, I don't think they want to be tied to that.
It would be the picks more than anything because we have a ton of picks. We have
Enough.
a bunch of
I know
first,
what you're gonna bring up.
seconds.
Yeah.
Because if Portland's most interested in picks, I think we have the most to offer.
Yeah, but I think they're interested in expiring. Like, because Chris Paul's like you can buy him or he's expiring.
You could also expand it to a three-team trade with Clippers because they're interested in Malcolm Brogdon still. But the other trade, because at first I thought we'd have to get one of the bigs.
He's gonna bring up the sign.
But you could also do a sign and trade with Blake Griffin and give them Payne Pritchard, Luke Cornett, Sam Hauser, Jordan Walsh would hurt my heart, and sign and trade with Blake Griffin. And you'd be able to make the money work.
Bringing in Jordan Walsh is tough for Portland.
No, Jordan Walsh is a needle
That's
mover.
he's
a needle mover.
That's tough for Portland.
That's a really good
You
package.
don't have
Boston can
shit
offer.
left.
I'm a eighth fan of Jordan Walsh.
I mean,
am.
even Jordan Walsh
I'm
should
sorry,
be our
can-
eighth man.
do me a
This year.
favor. Just
you
reread
said-
that
you
to me, please.
You bring in one player.
It'd be a 6-for-1.
Can you reread that for me?
So you got to go get
Because there was so much mid in
They're
there,
interested
I got
in,
clouded.
Just name the importance.
The highlight is Jordan Walsh. You're also
Picks.
giving up Payne Pritchard, Cornett, Sam Hauser, sign and trade Blake Griffin, and picks.
That doesn't even work in 2K.
And of
You're
course,
okay
Brogdon
with
would have
this?
to be.
If I get
Should
Jordan
be.
Walsh,
He keeps Brogdon. He can't.
No, no,
Brogdon
no.
would be in that trade. I apologize. And
Well,
Brogdon,
he gets
money-wise,
Jrue.
would
Now
have
you
to.
have Jrue, Jalen, Tatum,
Derek White.
Horford. Then you got
Rob.
Porzingis, Rob, White. You just need 2 more guys.
You really just
one.
need one
you
more
just
guy.
need.
for
I
the
mean, yeah,
playoffs.
you just need one more guy. It's
That's
8-man rotations.
That's the best team in the East.
That team's nasty.
That
Like
team is
far.
great. It's just, if I'm the Blazers, am
Can
I
Jalen
saying
dribble
yes?
in this scenario?
Go fuck yourself. Yes,
I think with the Blazers, it's all about the picks and at least getting a young player in return.
That's what I would need to know the picks also with that.
Because
Just-
what
Either that or
player-
get money off the book.
what player is Portland gonna be able to acquire? I mean, Kuminga, okay, that's fair. Even Jaime, is there a huge difference between
like
Jaime
if
and Jordan Walsh?
if I'm the Blazers, would I rather want Robert Covington, Marcus Morris, and
yeah.
Amir Coffey or Brandon Boston or Jordan Walsh? You know, I want Jordan Walsh. I think is going to be a good player in the league.
I think also, but it's the cap flexibility. Like, do you want those expiring deals that come off your books and then the picks? Like the Boston has the best picks in my opinion, but
Because we got your pick.
fuck you. But
it's about to be top 10.
he's gonna push that all year. I hate that for him. But in terms of young players,
I know you saw Steph working in the Sahara, bro.
Oh, he's lit.
That
It's
was
tough.
fire.
Kuminga and Billups. Listen. Kuminga, if he becomes a star in Portland, I'm a Portland guy, so I'm with it.
You already have ties there because of Cam Reddish for a month, right?
No, that's gone now. He left.
I do think
I
for
have
the
Shaden Sharp
Warriors,
ties though. So
I do think for the Warriors, Chris Paul and
You do
Kuminga.
have Shane Sharp ties.
I don't know if they would do that trade.
no, he's been working out with the team. He's here to stay.
Now, Drew mentioned a
that
bunch of
so
trades for
much.
a bunch of teams. I'm going to mention my 2 favorite trades for different teams. This first one's a 3-team deal. The Sixers get Jrue Holiday. The Clippers get James Harden. The Blazers get Brandon Boston Jr., Marcus Morris, Norman Powell, and first-round picks from the Sixers.
Just the Sixers, no Clippers.
No Clippers because the Clippers are already shedding salary and giving up Brandon Boston. So I think the Sixers at least have to send something, so it will be the picks. And then this one I think is a sleeper team. Nobody's mentioned them to land Jrue Holiday. It's the Dallas Mavericks. They can trade Tim Hardaway Jr., Rashawn Holmes. That would match salaries. And if I'm the Blazers, give me one of Omax or Josh Green, and we have a deal. You give me Hardaway, Rashawn, Omax, or Josh Green, we have a deal.
Bro added a Dallas in here.
And I think when you have Luka, Jrue Holiday, Kyrie,
I didn't cook up a trade for them on purpose.
that's a really good 3.
I like it.
It's
Williams,
undersized at the front, but hey.
It's Jrue Holiday. He can guard anybody, you know?
Their problem is just going to be the same problem they had, the front court.
Yeah.
So
But at least now you have a perimeter defender in Jrue, and He's going to be the
I'll
third
try to keep
offensive
Josh
option.
Green, though, for sure.
Yeah, I would too, 100%.
Send Olivier. Yeah, it's okay.
But they have the salary and Tim Hardaway and
Respect
Rashawn
on
to
Max.
match.
Oh, Max is cool, but Josh Green is a good defender.
I know what you mean.
know,
I know what you mean.
Time to go, buddy.
I think the Mavericks, they made moves this offseason.
I don't mind that deal.
But they need to make one more. And I think getting Jrue Holiday would be a splash move for them, given the offseason they've had that I've thought is a pretty good offseason.
I feel like I'd rather target a wing if I'm the Mavericks, but I don't mind this. You still get
Jrue Holiday,
great.
damn near a wing.
Is he?
Yes.
Sneaky.
Because he can guard anybody. He
Won the
can.
three.
Don't get fried. I'm sorry.
He did.
He got fried once.
He's
It
inefficient.
wasn't. Tatum
But he's
gave him like
also
40 one time.
to most of these
Tatum
places.
cooked him.
Most of these places, he's not going to be a 2. He was
You remember when
asked
you
to be a
told me
2 a lot of
Tatum
time.
and that Jrue Holiday and Wes Matthews could stop Tatum? You remember that?
That was after the game one.
You remember that?
I got fooled.
Fucking idiot.
They fooled me
you
after
got me
game
on-
one. They did it, and then life went down after that.
You got me on that
Tatum's
Golden
not a
State
game
guy.
one guy.
I'm wrong for saying Jrue can stop Tatum.
Nice.
Tatum is 6'9", bro.
Well, Wiggins stopped him. Fucker. Now what?
That's why I was going to say.
That's fucked
But
up.
if you're the Blazers, you wouldn't like either Josh. I would try to keep Josh Green, and Josh Green to me is less attractive than Omax for the Blazers. If the Blazers can
Jaden
get
Hardy,
Omax,
too,
untouchable.
If they
the
get
Blazers got guards.
they got guards, but
That's
Jaden, that boy.
But Omax with the Blazers, they need front court depth. That would be the perfect plug and play, and you could even send them like a pick swap or something like that, just to make it more
to get 'em going.
appealing. But yeah, the Dallas Mavericks with Jrue, Luka, Kyrie, they got Grant Will. That's a pretty good,
That's a
pretty
good
good
move. I
four
like
with
that.
Kleba, and hopefully Derek Lively does something. But
Did Grant
Dwight
Kyrie-
Powell.
You saw Derek, like you saw his he got big, bro.
Yeah.
He got really big. He's been in that fucking lab.
You
yeah,
know
the
what?
Mavericks have a pretty good,
I like
good
Lively.
rotation.
Unfortunately, I don't like Dallas,
like him
so I
'cause he
will
got
not
big?
be rooting for him. Sure, they did get big.
You got a trade, Riff?
No, I said fuck no.
All right, who do you guys? Who do you guys
cooked up
think?
8, you cooked up 9.
What team does Jrue Holiday end up on?
Warriors. No, probably
It's not the Clippers,
Sixers.
bro.
I want him to go to the Clippers. I would prefer him over James Harden because I think him as a number
I
3
agree.
is extremely perfect. Defensively brings another edge to that team, and he's a good shooter. Even though he drops off tremendously in the playoffs,
Russ went back, or
he did. Go
yeah, I
back.
thought so.
So bringing Russell off the bench is cool, but I think he'll probably end up at Sixer. Harden wants to go to the Clippers bad. Like they've been texting and shit. Like they in the group chat, they know what's going on.
I've
It's
had
bad.
enough.
Who's he in a group chat with?
Paul George and Kawhi. They've been texting. Yeah, they've been
insane.
texting, bro. They tampering.
I think
Shit's not
the
real.
one that's more likely is he goes to Philly and Harden goes to the Clippers. My two dark horses though is the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks have a lot of assets to go after Jrue Holiday, and the Timberwolves. They trade
That would be
Mike
a good one,
Conley.
too.
They trade Mike Conley. They can trade Wendell Moore, Josh Minott, Jordan McLaughlin just to match salaries and send some picks. The Blazers will be getting some young players, and Conley goes. You exchange Conley for Holiday. Holiday, Edwards, McDaniels,
Great
Gobert,
defensive
Cat.
unit, like one of the
You know,
best.
I
in
think
the league.
those are my two sleepers: the Mavericks and the Timberwolves.
Miami needs to do it though. They need to be the team that fuck what everybody else is saying. We'll give you everything.
Yeah.
At this point, I think if Miami I wouldn't shame Miami for giving Portland a deal for Holiday that they would have given for Dame.
Yeah,
Like
got
I
to
think at this point,
You can't-
what
yeah.
Holiday's worth for the Heat and their title hopes is just as much as what Dame was.
Yeah, I think it's whoever's gonna be most desperate because this feels like definitely the last
Portland
big
has made
name
it-
player before the season starts. So I think Miami's desperate.
Yep.
I think Philly's desperate,
Hey.
and I think the Clippers are desperate too. They know this Kawhi Paul George thing. This could be the last year. So I think those are probably the 3 teams.
Steve
that's on my
Ballmer
list.
is dope too. Watch the podcast. What was I gonna say? The Bulls.
What do you
Yo.
do?
You know what's crazy?
Hey.
I actually tried to cook up a package for them.
Oh, it's easy. It's Lonzo Ball.
That's why I wasn't doing it.
You're an idiot.
No, because the Blazers aren't. Are they
Why
going to
wouldn't-
take
Well, no,
Lonzo?
they
Take
can
the
picks
dude
and
that
shit.
doesn't play. Yeah,
Why would they do
his
that?
contract is up.
No, in 2 years.
No, it's 1.
1+1, really?
Yeah, he's done.
Player or team?
Team.
Nice. Yeah, you're set.
You get a guy who doesn't play, doesn't mess up your backcourt. Give you Patrick Williams. You can have him too. You
That's
have Dalen Terry
actually
also.
what the deal is. It's actually Lonzo
And a first round
Powell.
pick. You get your pick back. You can have the
That's,
little
that's
point.
not terrible.
I actually,
Drew.
you know, it's so funny you say
Remember,
that.
since January, Pat Bev and Caruso had us a top 10 defense.
I had that trade made, but didn't like it for the idea of trading Lonzo. And I know you're indifferent
For
to Pat
moral
Bev.
reasons, I get it. But
Yeah.
listen, buddy.
It's-
You just don't know if he's ever gonna play again.
No, it's
I
not
hope he
even-
does.
AK has made it clear they want to compete, so if we're going to compete.
Get Jrue Holiday.
Yeah, go get Jrue Holiday.
You know, I think for the Bucks, they're a team that should go trade for Caruso.
I think it's Jrue.
Oh, my dead fucking body.
Or hear me out.
What do they have left, bro?
Reunion. He comes back home.
You don't have
This guy always
anything
talking
to
about
give
the
you.
Lakers,
He's
man.
sick. Him and Dehls,
This
man. That's
guy.
all they do.
Oh, it's like,
Did
come on,
I
Lakers
mention the
and
Celtics of teams he's going to end up on? I hope he does, but I don't think we're as desperate as the other teams.
Send us 3 first.
Fuck no.
Oh, my dead body.
He's not. Here's the fuck. You don't get to talk. You don't get to talk like that about Caruso. That he's worth 3 first because you disrespected
He's only
him.
worth 3 first because you want him so bad.
The Bucks only have 2 second-round picks left, 2024 and 2027.
This is their
Yeah,
team.
they don't
they're
got no
cooked.
picks.
This is
They're
their team
not
for the
getting
year.
a Caruso.
Unless they go through the buyout. Do they even have the buyout market anymore?
I don't know.
Listen, bro. I'll make a call to Rob about the 3
2 first, give us Hood, Shafino, or your rookie, or your young players.
I'll make the call.
I forgot they had him.
Yeah, he's not going to play.
Come on, bro. We're stacked.
And give us Cam.
I'll make the call. If you on air apologize to me about the disrespect you said towards Alex Caruso.
What call?
The call to Rob saying we'll get the deal done.
3 first?
2 firsts.
Nobody. I need 3. You don't even have 3.
I told you 2 firsts and you can have
Cam.
Jalen. Cam, sure.
And Jalen.
You're pushing it.
No, you don't. You're not going to play Cam.
One or the other. He'll get minutes in April.
That's lit. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to push those 10 games.
It's
We
gonna
have
be
this
awesome.
25
I mean, listen, I did that with Reeves and we're here.
No deal, buddy. Caruso's the heart and soul.
Apologize and I can get the deal done though.
No.
You trade DeMar before Caruso?
Yes.
Zach? No.
Zach's too far. DeMar, yeah. I'd trade
DeMar's
DeMar.
contract's amazing.
It's literally, this is last year.
25 million, is
28.
it? 28.
Yeah, last year.
That they stole from him.
And Vooch got re-signed.
Love that for you.
He was good last season.
He was, but
No,
it's
easily
like,
his best season in a Bulls
what are we
uniform.
doing? Like,
Top 10 center.
top what?
Top 10 center.
No, he's right.
No, I don't think he's top 10. I think he's
Let me
top
ask
10.
you, KP or him?
Is KP a center?
KP.
KP
I'll
is
take
a
Bruce
center.
Center, so I would take KP.
Okay. All right. Ayton or him?
Definitely him.
Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we had Rudy.
It's up.
It's up. It's up. Telling you, we have to hide the defensive efficiencies of Zach and DeMar does not play defense like at all. Like he doesn't make an attempt.
He waits for
He
the
just
fourth
goes to
quarter
get the
and
bucket back.
activates.
Walker Kessler.
Walker Kessler,
That's not a bad answer.
I
Yo,
don't-
nice, bro. Nice name.
Honorable.
sort of.
So he's probably not top 10 for you.
No, he's not. I don't know why the fuck you said that.
He's
Did you see
borderline.
Hoops Hype Lit? That's why you said that.
Nah, I didn't.
They had him. They had some wild names up. They had Brook Lopez like
Was
14.
Vooch, would they have him top 10? Did they have Vooch top 10?
Brooke Lopez
top
or
15.
Vooch?
Brook.
Yeah, that's
That's
Jared Allen or Vooch.
After what I just seen, that's a toss up.
You saw you saw Mitchell Robinson.
I'd take Claxton.
They said they want multiple
he
first
might
round
not be a
picks for
top 20
Mitchell.
center
Yeah.
at this point, bro.
That's nuts.
He's valuable.
No, but they said they would keep him because they want him. But if a deal was on the table, that's too good to pass up.
2 firsts though. Is he worth that?
That's valid. If they get that.
For a
I'd
team
say
that
yeah.
definitely
No, if I'm the
needs
Knicks,
defense,
of
yeah.
course.
Yeah, them Knicks, I'm saying
2
yes.
firsts.
Like if
For
it's
who?
the
Oh,
Suns,
Mitch.
But can you guys even afford to move him?
They don't have to first.
like what do you mean afford?
Yeah, the Suns.
Like, do you guys have big depth? I know you have Isaiah Hartenstein, but
Why'd you bring up the Suns, buddy?
Hartenstein, Jericho Sims.
Why'd you bring up the Suns, buddy? They don't
Mitchell
have 2
Robinson
first.
would be great on
They don't
the
have 2
Suns.
first.
Well, who's gonna
They
start?
got
at center?
second round picks though, and they
Did
got
you play
Nasir
Julius at the
Little.
five?
for 2 firsts. Yo,
Got
you're
Nasir
sick, yo.
Little.
He's
You're
trying
gonna
to
play.
stack
You're
the
gonna play
deck.
Julius at the 5.
Huh?
Play Julius at the 5.
No. He'll play the 4.
One question before we get off air. If James Harden goes to the Clippers or the Miami Heat, well, can we now debunk that Steph has had the most help in NBA history? It's James Harden now, right?
I mean,
um,
been tossed around.
Having Kevin Durant join the team is like
Now
That's
he's
it.
going to a team with
Well, he
PG
had
Kawhi.
Kevin
He just
Durant
left
and-
Embiid.
He had
He was with
KD,
Kevin
but the
Durant.
team was
He
not
was
the
with Kyrie.
Warriors.
Can we now debunk this?
they had Steph, Clay, KD, Draymond, and
the guys that
Iguodala.
got drafted.
Yeah, but to be fair, that was Steph on one team. Harden has gone to team. This might be a
Come
third.
on.
Like
How many of those guys is Clay better than? PG, Kawhi, Kyrie, KD. How many of those guys is Clay actually better than?
Clay is easily the best plug and play, arguably the best plug and play player.
For sure.
It's just in totality what the Warriors had though.
You mean the same guys for 10 years?
But it was just different. Like Harden has bounced around. Steph has stayed there, and everyone came to him.
Yeah. You're done, bro.
Harden is the
What do you
one
mean
going
I'm
to guys.
done?
Don't put him
Why
in
do
the
you
Hall
say
of
I'm
Fame,
done?
man.
I don't
'cause of
think.
Harden.
I don't know if I get.
Are you fading Harden?
I'm not fading Harden.
Fade aside?
I don't know why I said I'm done though.
Oh, because I remember we had that debate. I was watching it the other day.
Curry
You were-
still has had the most help though.
No, it's actually Kevin Durant, then Harden.
I'll
Now
be
it's
real.
Steph.
I think I'm with Riv.
Kevin Durant's number
That
one, though,
it's-
for sure.
It's
I
been
agree.
KD.
No, Kevin Durant's easily number one. He's
No. It's by far and away Kevin.
Then it's Harden.
Well, Kevin Durant joined the
Exactly,
team
that's
we're
why I
arguing.
said-
Then he
against.
joined the Suns. Well,
Yeah.
but he was in Brooklyn too. Stop.
What do you mean arguing against though?
No, I'm saying if we're comparing Steph and KD's help, Well, KD joined the Warriors.
Exactly, because he needed help. So that's
Even
why
if you
we
take
go
out
KD.
the Warriors, he had
So
Westbrook.
of course I'm agreeing with the KD point. I don't agree with the Harden point. Though.
I feel like I lean with the Harden point because he played with KD and Kyrie.
They
Then
played 13 games together.
You just
Then he
told me
bounced,
historical
bro.
offense with them 13 games.
Yeah, but they didn't play in the playoffs.
why
the full
did he
playoffs.
leave? Why did he leave?
They did play. They did play a full series in the playoffs.
And then he
No,
goes.
they didn't play a full playoffs.
Then he goes to Philly.
I'm saying if he goes to the Clippers, if he doesn't go,
Oh,
then
and he
that's-
goes to
yeah.
the Clippers.
or the Heat.
We're not going to
Well,
treat
listen, if he-
CP3
if
like
he-
he's a bum.
If he goes,
And of
He's a
course,
bum now.
and PJ Tucker, who's one of the best role players of all time, also.
you're right about that.
Oh God!
If he goes to the Clippers should be favorites to win the championship.
Wait, say it again.
If Harden goes to the Clippers,
I agree.
There should be favorites to win the championship.
I actually-
listen. I formally welcome you to Clipper Town.
If Harden goes,
We're
you know
here.
I'm there.
They're the same team.
What are you talking about?
Lock in and watch the
No,
games,
but what I'm
my
talking
boy.
about is that I just think it's really unfair to mention this Brooklyn stint, bro. They played 13 games together and did not play in a full playoffs.
All right, him and Kyrie played a good portion of that season together. Kyrie Irving was a 50, 40, 90 player. And on top of it, and before Harden got injured, to be his defense, he was playing
You know
at
what's
MVP
funny?
level.
We don't even have to bring up Brooklyn because before all that, he played with Westbrook and Kevin Durant in OKC.
Correct.
And then he got traded after he won Sixth Man of the Year.
You're right. And then he teamed up with, Chris Paul got traded to Houston. They were
Chris Paul
amazing.
adds him.
And then Chris Paul gets hurt, and it shows just the impurities of that team, unfortunately. Dame
Are you
pulled
talking
the
about when
last two games.
Steph had 33 and a half?
Wait, what do you mean? Because of course, Chris Paul is going to impact the team.
Well,
What are
missing
you talking
20.
about?
I don't think Chris Paul
But
stops you
having-
from missing 27
and going
straight
3
threes.
for, what was it? 3 for 13, was
3
it?
for 13, some shit like that.
Having Chris Paul is not better than Steph having Clay, Draymond, Iguodala, and Kevin
Don't say
Durant.
that.
Nah, let's not talk
Iguodala.
about KD because KD did that. You know, like that's not
No,
Steph.
but it's
Steph, come
Harden.
here. Harden went and played with the Brooklyn Nets.
Harden
He got
keeps leaving.
traded to the
No,
the
but
Nets.
we're talking about Harden and Steph. We're not talking about KD. We're just talking about Harden and Steph. You can't tell me that him having
Who's played
Chris
with more
Paul.
All-Stars?
But here's also the easy answer.
Steph has played with
Bengals
better
missed
teams and talent.
Steph Curry
He
won a
has.
championship after KD left. That's it. He's good.
Okay, but that team was still
Who's
awesome.
played with more All-Stars, Harden or Steph?
You're gonna mention me some bullshit number.
I asked you a question.
Andrew Wiggins was the second best player on that team.
He was an all-star starter.
I'm gonna.
He
throw
got
up.
voted. Yeah, I'm done.
Draymond was an all-star that year.
Next topic.
Was he not? Draymond was an all-star. Was he not that year?
I think he was.
You saw Katie's agent was on a podcast. They were talking about like his decision and like what ultimately led him to the Warriors. It was Tom Brady.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what did Tom
Like
say?
he had, I don't know, they were out in his mansion or whatever, in, I don't know, California, wherever Katie was at the time. And they were having, of course, all these interviews come in. And when Boston came up, it was like Brad Stevens was there, Danny Ainge, but they brought Tom Brady. And Tom Brady, they said him and Kevin Durant went on a walk down the beach or whatever. They were chatting it up. And Brady said, you just got to look at all these teams. Who has the best team? Who has the best roster? And that's what we got to go with.
Tom
He
Brady
came
funny
back.
as hell.
He came back, talked to his agent. He said, I think Tom Brady just told me to go to the Warriors.
He low-key did. I'll be honest. That's nuts. Shout out to Tom.
Tom
bro.
Brady's fucking smart, man. That's why he got so many
Told him to stack the
championships.
decks.
Fuck that guy.
I'm sick.
We're
I always
in bas-
hated him. Now
Who
he
did-
even
who did-
screwed me again.
Who did you guys have at that time? Was it the IT team?
Yeah.
IT, Avery Bradley, Jake.
Yep,
You
I'd
guys
say.
stink.
Why did you ask me that question?
That was-
Because you
but we
know
still
how
have
many
Tatum and Brown. That
all-stars
was young
Steph has
Tatum and
played
Brown.
with at the top of his head?
No, I just didn't know how many All-Stars Harden played with at the
2016,
How
time.
many All Stars has he?
Oh, no, we
put?
drafted
4?
Steph?
27.
4.
Yeah, Clay,
Okay.
Draymond,
Wiggins, that's it. I mean, Katie.
Let's go through James Harden.
Iguodala.
Wait, Iggy didn't make an All-Star game
How
with
many?
him.
Actually,
Okay,
how
that's
many
not counting.
MVPs?
You don't want to count him?
No, that's why
Yeah.
I was asking you.
No.
Chris Paul didn't make an all-star game with the Rockets.
Yo, bro.
That's why I was
by the
asking.
way.
Riv, how many MVPs has Steph Curry played with? One.
Just one.
How
And
many?
he's
has,
the other one.
How many has James Harden played with? Is it 3?
Might be 3. Yeah, because Westbrook, KD.
Does it count if it's before they won MVP?
Oh wait, no. I guess the answer is he's MVP, so we give him that respect.
Well, no, because
I
he
guess it
played
is
with him in
2.
Houston.
Oh
Westbrook.
wait, no. I'm sorry. I was
Westbrook
right
and
about
Harden
3.
played in
Because Mr. Joel Embiid.
Oh, shit, it's 3.
yeah, yeah.
I actually
There he
blanked.
is.
That's sad that I blanked off.
But if
Embiid's
you know
MVP.
basketball, you know Harden has not played with more talent than Steph Curry. He has not.
That's a you.
He has not
that's
played.
a if you know
he-
basketball
he-
take.
Yes, it
Are
is.
you
He has not played
sure?
with better teams than Steph, bro.
No,
Better
wrong.
teams, no, but that's
No.
But
because Steph
Harden
is.
is going to these places.
2022
Steph is just like,
Steph
I'm here.
Curry
Like, come to
is
me.
one of the more impressive championships.
It is.
Yes, it's
That's-
impressive.
hey, it
From
has to be
yes, it's a very impressive championship. Nobody's denying Steph of his
I'm
greatness.
just saying there was no it wasn't a super team.
James Harden has had more top end talent. Steph has had better teams. Though,
Yeah.
for some
Yeah,
reason.
yeah.
But when we talk
better
about the
run
Warriors,
organiza-
I
best
feel
run
like
organization.
Doesn't leave.
especially defensively, we cannot just minimize what Draymond impacts on the Warriors defense. He's literally the other side.
Harden
He's
has
the
had
other
more
side.
top end talent. Steph has had better teams. Can we agree on that?
No.
What the fuck? He just never can level.
Okay, next
No, because I
topic.
think
Steph has had more
talent.
I said top end talent. You're gonna tell me Klay Thompson's top end talent?
So if we go through Harden's
Can you
career,
respect a legend?
Clay's an all-star, but he's not a superstar. Harden has played with superstars.
right.
you're counting young OKC with the three of them.
I won't.
We don't have to because
Okay.
Kevin Durant and them played in Brooklyn.
Then when
And
Harden,
Russ and him played together in Houston.
Yes, when-
Russ was still really, really fucking nice.
Russ was asked that.
No, he was
playoffs.
asked when he got hurt.
Yes.
But before he got
So
hurt,
you count that.
That
so,
regular season, Russ was nuts.
yeah, he averaged 27. They actually are top 5 in terms of points per game duos
keep adding all that. Yeah.
in NBA history.
I know.
Yeah, but if Russ got hurt in the playoffs, why do you count that? Because they weren't fully healthy. They didn't get a chance to play fully healthy.
Well, they did play the Lakers. It was not a good matchup for them.
Yeah, it wasn't, and it left Russ wide open.
I'll be honest, that's
I
more
think
Russ.
the only team I look at and I'm like, yeah, that year Harden should have definitely won was 2018.
But
That's
we're
the
not
one I
talking
really
about
look
teams,
at.
though. We've admitted Steph has had better teams. But Steph usually has better teams because they keep the same team.
Steph has had better teams because just the players are better. I think that's what I think.
Well, also the engine is better. The offensive creator is better.
I
They're
think
better players.
I think Steph is a better player than James Harden. There's no doubt.
But top end talent, Harden has played with more top end talent.
All right, last statement.
You can say that on a multitude of teams if you combined every player
We're
Harden has
combining the
played
career.
with. Yes, but we talking about just the if you're talking about just the teams they played on, Harden has never played on the top end
Well, that's
talent
because
team
Steph didn't move.
that
We
was
can't-
healthy.
We can't really shove. We got to just talk about their
That's
career.
what I've been
Steph never
trying to say.
moved.
Yeah,
And
but
also the issue, James Harden was poop in the Milwaukee game.
The Nets,
The grade 2
on the
hamstring.
grade 2 hamstring.
Grade 2 hamstring.
Yeah, grade 2 hamstring.
Multiple wide open
He
shots.
did a step back.
That is
shit was fire.
the only reason I hold that game against James Harden. I get he was injured. Wide open shots. Wide open. No one around him.
Yeah, everybody missed that game. Just not to
Not
discount.
KD.
No, not KD, but everybody around KD was. It's like Uncle Jeff Green. He did his thing. Jeff Green did his thing. But Joe Harris
Jeff
was
Green.
ass. Joe Harris missed a 3 that would have won them the
Can
game.
we stop? There's responsibility when you're a superstar.
Yeah, but it's a grade 2 hamstring. To me,
He was wide open.
I think it's unfair to mention the Brooklyn tenure
I will.
just because he didn't. It wasn't. They weren't healthy. They were not healthy. When the Lakers got eliminated in the first round by the Suns, that's a knock on LeBron's resume for losing in the first round to you.
We're talking about James Harden and LeBron James.
Correct.
But it's a similar situation.
It was year what? 19, 20.
No, but it's a similar situation. When the Lakers lost to the Suns in the
was
first
year 18.
round, why do you say they lost? Because Anthony Davis got hurt in that series.
The issue is that James Harden did play, and again, why I hold it against him, like I just
He
mentioned,
played on a grade 2 hamstring.
and he was wide open.
It's hard to play on
multiple-
a grade 2 hamstring. It's
is.
difficult.
Okay, but you got
Yeah.
multiple opportunities to hit wide open shots.
Okay.
You failed to do so.
Yeah, but still, the team that he played with, the top end talent team, they were not healthy together. Like if the Nets lost and Kyrie, Harden, and KD all played, I'm like, yeah, that's a failure. They failed because they were unhealthy when they needed to be healthy. They played 13 total games together.
It's the biggest failure in NBA history.
No, I think if the Clippers don't win a championship, that's a bigger failure.
Well, we have to wait to see that
Yeah, I think if they don't win a championship,
because where we stand right now, they're the biggest failure in
But
NBA
they've been
history.
together longer.
I don't
so.
think so. I think you could say the Lakers was a failure when they got Karl Malone and Gary Payton. I don't think they were a bigger failure.
They
I
won
think,
3 before that, though.
I think
in a
the
row.
Lakers when they got Steve Nash and Dwight Howard with that
We're
team
talking
was a bigger
about
failure.
we're talking like a 37-year-old Steve Nash.
That team was supposed to win a championship
Steve
that
Nash
year.
broke his back.
Not
Kobe
at the
didn't play-
time,
No, Kobe. None of them played in the playoffs, but Dwight.
but that was one of the more disappointing seasons ever. It was.
I'm
Yeah, but-
sorry.
yeah, sure.
It's essentially all 3 of them in their prime joining up together and no accomplishments.
Dwight
at all.
Howard was in his prime when he joined the Lakers.
Okay.
Pau Gasol made All-Stars after the Lakers.
They just all got banged
They
up.
were hurt.
They were
Steve
not
Nash
all
was
hurt.
old.
No,
They
Kobe
were
got hurt in that series.
Even
No.
so, now you're using Lakers
No.
hurt being an excuse.
No, I'm using them being old, which that's what they were. They were.
They
old.
were they were literally ass. They were an ass team when they were healthy. They were an ass.
How old was
garbage.
Steve Nash? Was he?
He was
He
38,
was old
dog.
as shit.
Okay, what?
But
what are
Steve
we
Nash was
doing?
not brought in there to be the second best player.
It
It was
was,
Dwight Howard.
similar to Karl Malone and Gary Payton. Their names.
Kobe said
Karl
that shit.
Karl
This shit
Malone
wasn't
had
gonna
a
work.
good.
Like
Karl Malone had a good year with them.
They just came off 3 championships. I think that it's okay that they lost in the
Gary
finals.
Payton, after that Lakers tenure, he went to Miami, won a championship with them, and contributed off the bench.
Shout
you know
out
that,
to
right?
Wade, Ski.
And Alonzo,
Wade County.
Shaq. That team was pretty fucking good. And Dwayne Wade was
Alonzo on that
unbelievable. I'm pretty sure he was.
And
Alonzo
Walker
Moran
was
was
there.
on that team.
Antoine
Antoine
Walker was on
Walker.
that team. Jason Williams was on that team.
Adrian Griffin. No, he was on the Mavericks.
Yeah, he wasn't there. He was on the opposite side. Shout out to Wade County, man.
Wade,
You saw how he just said the Lakers injuries. They was injured.
38
but
years
with
old.
The Nets, they wasn't
James
injured.
Harden was playing at an MVP level. He had multiple missed wide open shots in that game. He was horrendous.
Because James Harden was on.
He was
a
on the
grade
court.
2 hamstring.
He was on the court. I don't want to hear it.
You guys were just talking about the Heat, Dwayne Wade. What do you guys think about this Heat team this year? Do you think they're closer to an NBA Finals appearance, or do you think they're
That was
closer
a great
to a first round
transition.
exit? I could not listen to this shit anymore.
I
Bro.
didn't know we had another topic. I'll be honest.
I knew you didn't know because when you said before we wrap things up before.
You said that.
That was you.
Wasn't me.
At this moment, they're closer to a first round exit team than a finals team.
I'm not. Are you surprised to hear this?
I don't think he's wrong.
When was the last time we saw a team in the East go back to back to the finals? LeBron.
We've seen them go back to back to conference championships, though.
Correct.
And if they go to the conference championship, they will be close to a finals team then. But they're missing pieces. Like Gabe Vincent's gone, Max Strus is gone. Are you going to get Caleb Martin, same production, same
They're missing
uber
the backcourt.
efficiency gone?
Missing guards.
Kyle Lowry's a year older. Jimmy Butler's a year older. He's still great, of course.
Tyler Hero, bro.
He's
come
back.
Tyler Hero,
Come back
that's
tour.
facts. Yeah, it's facts.
Are they closer to it?
No, this is not a finals.
Because Milwaukee
team to
got
me.
better.
Unfortunately,
Boston
'cause
got
Milwaukee,
better.
I think Milwaukee and Boston right now are better. So you'll have to run into.
I
one
hope
of
you're
those
ready,
teams.
guys. He fans on this video are gonna
They're
absolutely
going to be on
hate us
for sure.
Oh, you guys slept on us last year. You guys said that we would lose in the playing game. It's like,
We
listen,
sure fucking
we
did.
respect
We
y'all
sure did. We
for
picked them
going to the
back, yeah.
finals. We respect Jimmy Butler for what he did. We just try to stay consistent in our belief. The Celtics, top to bottom, yes, the Heat picked them in the conference finals. Jason Tatum hurt his ankle. We'll never know what could have happened if Jason Tatum would have stayed healthy. You were able to win that series and go to the finals. You got dominated by the Nuggets. You weren't that great of a team. You overachieved. That's success. Well done to you. But you didn't win. You didn't accomplish the ultimate goal, so you did fail.
I think if they get Jrue, which they need to,
If this roster as it stands now,
they're probably the first round.
I think they're still a second round exit team.
they can make. The
I
second round
give
for
them
sure.
respect.
The
'cause
question
Spo is-
was, are they closer to a first round exit or are they closer to the finals?
Well, in
So
theory,
that
if
would
they're a
be-
second
right.
round exit, they're
They'd be
close
close to the
first
first round exit, yeah.
Because I think they still need to get a couple guys. I think their roster's a little thin right now, but I think they can still beat teams like Cleveland, Philly.
I was gonna say, I know you're a
Yeah.
big Cleveland guy.
I still think they can beat teams like you still got Spo, Jimmy, Bam. As long as you got those three, you can still make some shit work.
Still lose when it matters. Yeah, that's true.
And you know, if
This is
fucking
hilarious.
Hayward
Wait.
Highsmith or someone's gonna go crazy in
Are
the
you really gonna
playoffs.
dog him for that when in reality we know that he's trolling because he's hurting?
What is he hurt? He has this random Heat beef.
What do you mean random? The Heat smoked his Knicks.
They beat him in 6 games. Not that bad.
I didn't lie. I just told you the truth. They got those three and they lose when it matters.
Oh, you didn't hear
what it is.
his TikToks laughing, cackling
He
At
was
the-
cracking up.
at the idea that
cracking up.
the Heat didn't get Damian Lillard?
I respect it. That was tier A hatred.
You know what's funny?
Lame's over here cracking up.
You know what's crazy? It's crazy because like the Knicks and the Heat are probably in the same talks for a star every single year.
But the Heat are always in deep.
When
I
have
feel
the
like
Knicks
it's-
been in talks for a superstar?
You know, it's
Donovan.
It's,
That's my last
no,
one.
no,
Yeah,
forget
Donovan.
about
The
it.
Heat
You know,
are
it's
and
tier
neither of them
everyone.
get it.
You
He's not
know,
a
it's
superstar.
so funny
That's
you
a
say
star.
that. You know, it's so funny you say that. I actually just sent out the picture of Zion, KD, and Kyrie in Knicks uniform.
Oh god,
That was a legendary year.
could have been.
That was a legendary summer.
Could've
That
been.
was the most disappointing summer for me, of course.
That was a legendary summer. They were posting that.
Now,
Like,
now
they
he's
got
being
him.
rude. Now he's being rude.
But I was fine with getting Julius
Said no
Randle.
shit. Julius Randle's a solid player. He's
I
not.
said Julius Randle gonna be an all-star with the Knicks.
You went from
2
KD,
All-NBAs,
Kyrie,
baby.
Zion to wait.
You were a
Step
year
back.
off.
Julius Randle
Huh?
and
You were a year
RJ
off.
Barrett.
A year off.
Yeah, remember you said it the first year. He got it second
Yeah,
year.
yeah, I said it the first
you're
year,
a year
yeah.
off.
Listen, that's what Julius Randle is.
He's also one of the greatest playoff droppers in NBA history.
Is this the picture?
So that
Oh,
Lakers
God
team,
bless.
three of their main starters played 70+ games.
What is Lakers team?
The 2012,
Steve Nash
2013.
Yeah, it was Kobe, Powell, Dwight. Steve Nash broke his back. Kobe got hurt to the Warriors, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Kobe played 78. Dwight played
He tore his
76.
ACL. And
It
then
was Ron Artest who played the most. Pau Gasol only played 49
they ran
games.
out Dwight, Ron, and Powell against the Spurs. It was a sweep.
Steve Nash played in the playoffs though.
Did it?
Nash, Gasol,
broke his
Howard,
back.
they all played.
Yeah, Nash hated
It's
Dwight.
just Kobe didn't play in the playoffs because he got hurt. Ron Artest played too.
Team was cheeks.
Yeah, it was garbage.
No, it was ass.
It was hyped up, but
yeah,
it was just
it was
mid.
supposed to win a
Yeah.
championship. That was the title
You got a whole bunch of old
do you hate
Hall of
the Heat?
Famers.
I'm gonna be real with you, bro. If you're gonna compare that to KD, Kyrie, and Harden,
lost me.
It's an impossible conversation.
What do you mean they were all old? Dwight Howard was 27.
I'm not.
No,
who said
Nash
they're
was
all-
old.
Nash
Kobe
Nash
was
was
old.
the only
Nash
one
and
that was old.
Kobe was elite.
Kobe was the same
He
age
was
as
still
Kevin
elite.
Durant when he was in Brooklyn.
How old
KD's
was
old.
Kobe was 34 at this point. in
KD's
time.
old as shit.
KD's 34 now, isn't he?
KD is
KD's
34 now.
Might be 34, 35.
Because Steph is 34.
Okay,
KD's
so let's
34.
go 3 years
Pau
ago.
Gasol was 32 with that
That was
year.
Chicago was nice. So I can't even say he was old. He went to
Yeah,
Chicago.
Pau
after.
Gasol went to Chicago and averaged 17 and 10.
I'm not
Nice.
gonna disrespect Pau at all.
He was an all-star.
He was an all-star. That's
when they
some
were
legend
meaningful.
shit.
Ah, missed those days.
Like a legend, man.
Chicago legend. I always remember him, man. Bro was a dog.
He's.
Why do you hate? What's up with this Miami? Like, why do you do this?
I don't
I
know.
don't hate
why.
Miami. I just told them they should get Jrue Holiday.
Oh my god.
Miami's insane.
You made this topic to clearly hate on Miami.
Yeah.
No, I made this topic because the Heat are a topic. That's why.
Yeah,
The Heat
the
are
topic
a
because
topic.
they're a loser.
The
So
They're
topic
Heat are a
is
topic because they
which-
didn't get Dame. It's like, okay,
they-
what's the pivot? What's the pivot?
That's
for-
not what the
Not getting
question is.
Dame.
The question is, are they
It's-
closer to being a loser in the first round or a loser in the finals?
Yeah, I'm asking you, what are they closer to being?
No, you didn't ask
You
the
could-
pivot.
you
You,
could-
just
you
said it was a
could've-
pivot thing.
No, you could have came up here and said, well, listen, right now they might be close to a first round exit,
we
but
did say that.
if they get Jrue,
So
they could be a
'cause
finals
you said if they get Drew,
They're
they could beat the
sneaky.
Bucks.
No,
That
yeah.
means they're closer to
No,
a
if they
finals
get Jrue,
team.
they're a finals team. Like
Okay.
100%. I think they're a finals team.
You would have them coming out the East.
He can't even say it with a straight face. Bro hates him.
He already said it.
He sure did. We have him on
He
film.
literally
Well,
already.
no,
said
he just
it.
said they could get past the Bucks.
No, he said that
They're definitely in
no,
that
he
tier
said they're
with the
favorites
Bucks.
to come out the
Oh,
East.
did he?
Yeah.
Oh, did
They're in that tier with the Bucks and Celtics. I don't know who I'd pick.
for sure.
Yeah.
No, definitely all in the same tier. I don't know if anyone would be favorites at that point.
Yeah, it'd
but-
just
Unless
be
Jimmy
whatever.
Butler kind of goes back down to earth in the playoffs. Then.
I mean, the depth isn't great.
Isn't he on back
picked
to
up
back,
Josh
not
Richardson,
down to earth?
Picked up Thomas
One of
Bryant.
the best player performers of our generation.
Picked up
What are
Jaime
you,
was
what
a
are you
draft pick.
hoping? First of all,
Jovic maybe gets
hold on,
minutes.
Dehls, because this is stressing me out. If Jimmy goes back
Bro,
down
can
to
you not
earth,
slurp while he's talking?
no, it's fine.
It's good.
It's like chewing gum while
Well,
we're
that shit's
talking.
dead.
Come on,
It's
bro.
if Jimmy goes back down to earth, Milwaukee didn't fix the Jimmy problem. Like if they play them again, they don't have a solution. Still, they didn't have one with Jrue.
That's why I think the Heat will make it out.
No,
if
but
they
and
got
even
Jrue.
Boston, their best defender on Jimmy is Tatum and Smart. But you're not going to leave Tatum on Jimmy.
Smart's
for the
gone,
game.
bro.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So like, where's the and then if they play the Knicks again, and then Josh Hart doesn't injure him again, what? Like, what are we?
Wait,
What?
so you're telling me this current team with no getting Jrue, not making a move?
No, don't do that.
What do you mean? I'm
said
asking you a
no.
straight up
You
question.
said if they get Drew, they're contenders.
That is what you said, bro. Come on, let's take
and
it
then you
off.
said, no. But then you said
I already
after.
said with Jrue.
No.
So the camera shut off. We were in the midst of a Heat conversation because Riff thinks I hate them, but you know.
It was coming to an end. Let's just be real. The unfortunate truth, if you're a Miami Heat fan, is that this team is good. I don't know if it's going to the finals.
Yeah, but the fortunate side of things is you have Eric Spoelstra. So even if your roster
sad.
is mid, he's going to be able to elevate. So if you're this roster, I would stands right now. If it was any other coach, I'm saying this is a first round exit. This is a play and loss type team. But Spo has showed, especially this last run, that he could be the least talented team in multiple playoff series
You can
and
take mid
still
to
win.
the finals.
They got Josh Richardson and Thomas Bryant.
They did.
Thomas Bryant,
Jovic maybe
who
plays some more?
asked to be traded from the Lakers because he wanted more minutes, to get traded to Denver to
slap.
have
That's
essentially DNPs.
It's funny for LA. I hats off. You're saying we don't want to be here. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna send you to a place you'll definitely not play. So go to fucking Denver. He did. So I
That's the
guess
silver lining
that
for
does,
him.
yeah.
But he had no part in it.
Would you take a DNP'd ring over no ring though?
Yes,
I would take a
Yeah,
DP.
I would take a
for
DP.
sure.
need that ring. Right? Need the parade.
Because
we
the
knew the Lakers
celebrations,
was
the
gonna
vibes, you're going
the
out.
type of woman that's bringing in if you single too, like yo, bro, like you come outside like, yeah, I was on the Denver Nuggets, man. We just won a ring. I had like 10 points.
Oh,
behind and shit.
really?
Yeah, she
One of
started lying.
those.
Show me your ring, babe.
You're live, be like, I'm Nikola Jokic.
Imagine you're Thomas
No,
Bryant.
I'm definitely telling her I'm Michael Porter Jr.
You're stupid.
Like, yeah, I just put up 30, 10, and 15. Man.
I was just killing Bam. Like,
God.
start lying, man. Show
Oh
her the
my
ring bling.
God.
I start capping. Show her the trophy. Like, look, my trophy is here.
Holy
the big trophy.
shit,
You're gonna
Joel.
bring
The
your
MVP too.
the woman meter's up. Like,
Yeah.
come
Oh
on.
my
Nicola is
God.
definitely be like, yo, hold
He has a
this
wife.
MVP trophy. Nicola?
And a kid,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
he was
yeah,
actually
facts, facts.
seen with horses after the
And
finals.
That's his hobby. He loves horse racing.
he's such a non-basketball.
Joel,
guy.
that's,
don't think he cares
that
about
was
this
a
shit at
top
all.
tier.
Basketball is just his job.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Respect it too.
Yeah, he's great at his
Jamal
job.
was indeed drunk and outside.
Jamal
Murray.
Yeah. I mean, Jokic after they won, he was going to clubs.
Do you
and
remember
shit.
when Jamal Murray
Stop.
accidentally?
Stop.
You think he did it on purpose?
How do you do it on purpose?
He couldn't do it on accident. That was
like,
before.
there's so many steps to get there.
No, bro. You could just easily. It's just you click the pic story. That's it. You probably
Why are you on
either
Twitter
sent it.
or
No,
Instagram?
it was on IG.
Why are you on IG?
Probably meant to send it to her or someone, and then
On
like, oh
IG?
shit, it's on my story.
But low-key, bro, you got to click it down here. You got to click story, take the picture, click, go on. Like, that's just not happening in your
Yeah,
fucking
you defending
pocket,
that as nuts, buddy.
I'm
I'll
not
be honest.
defending it.
I don't think he
It's a
did
legendary
it on-
moment.
I don't
It
think he
sounds
did it
like
on
something similar
purpose.
happened
I don't think he did it on accident.
It's a legendary moment.
That's
You're
just not
nuts.
funny. That's
is
just not
funny.
funny.
You looked at it?
It's funny, but
I mean,
You liked it.
legendary
Relax.
moment.
Yeah,
dude, it's funny.
Bro's got
Drew
a
looked on
photographic
the
memory.
Drew looked on the TL. Wow, this is
He
legendary.
saved the flick.
Hey, yo,
Looking at a man
he's
meat
getting-
is
he's getting
legendary.
neck. He put it on. He put it on IG.
You could do way worse. You could
Yeah,
do way worse things.
It's mainly meat. That's legendary to
it's
you?
not true,
How you know?
dude. Come on.
You're
Not gonna
weird.
say we haven't. You look at the pic. It is what it is. Like,
You-
Jamal
you
Murray.
haven't
getting
saved?
You're
neck.
moved?
No. Isn't that still his girl?
I don't know. You would know. Is it?
I don't know. He was getting neck and he's lit on IG.
You liked it.
Not
didn't
hating. Yeah, liked it for Jamal. Good for him, man.
Yeah. Hey.
you? Okay, yeah, shout
Come
out
on,
to
getting
him.
hit
Congrats
on
on the
another man
sex.
getting some neck. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
That's
but,
what's
you know, I
next,
would hope for him he gets that, you know?
I'm sure he does.
Don't think it was an accident, though.
Nah.
Yeah.
He probably didn't mean it to send to like a DM or some shit. But even
He
still,
put
why
on
are
a
you?
story.
Why are
that-
you
who's-
DMing? That's
Like,
such an odd
be
thing.
honest,
What
on your
text is
story,
it?
his
that's not
girl-
an immediate accident.
But if that's his girl, why is he DMing his girl?
I don't think he did it on purpose.
He definitely didn't mean to put a picture of his dick on IG.
But where are you sending that? Who are you sending that? I don't know.
Group chat, boys.
It was a mega L on his part. But
For
it's
sure.
funny.
It is funny.
You more laugh? Did you laugh or you were mesmerized?
We're gonna wrap this up.
That's
That's gonna do it for episode 314 of the Pick a Side Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast, and make sure to join the Patreon. It's just
sir.
$1. Almost at 300. Once we get 300, next episode, Dehls will wear a
Do-rag
do-rag.
Dehls.
Thank you guys for listening to the podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.